Hello，大家好，
Hello， 大家好，
大家好，我哋又嚟到我哋居外網舉辦嘅直播啦，海外房產直播。
係啊，今日我哋就會係新加坡啦嘅房產直播啦。咁
係，
大家好，我係 Vanessa，
我係 Evan。
係啊，好歡迎大家收睇啦。咁其實相信有好多朋友咧都認識我哋啦，不如都等阿 Evan 同我哋介紹一下居外網俾我哋一啲新嘅觀眾認識啊。
好啊，其實咧居外網 Juwai.com 同埋 Juwai.Asia 咧係一個海外嘅房產平台。咁啊，其實咧所以喺平台上面咧，其實有好即係有差唔多全球90幾個國家嘅房產啦。咁我哋其實咧即係直接同海外嘅發展商咧就代理佢哋嗰個海外樓盤。咁其實幫佢哋咧做線上線下做活動㗎。咁啊線上當然梗係擺喺我哋平台啦。咁啊其實線下其實我哋都會做好多 online 同埋 offline 嘅 events 啦。咁啊咧 offline 就好似我哋舊年做過嘅Hong Kong Expo 啦。咁其實我哋而家即係做 online event 都邀請我哋而家做緊直播啦。咁其實希望我哋透過呢個平台咧，即係除咗我哋即係可以帶多啲海外唔同樓盤俾大家香港觀眾啊，或者係海外買家之外咧，其實亦都希望可以帶更多資訊啦。因為其實有時買樓，其實你唔單止係去海外買樓，其實你應該認識一個新嘅國家咯。係啊。
咁喺開始之前咧，都想分享翻啦。因為其實每個觀眾啦，或者每個人咧，對海外投資同埋移居都有唔同嘅需求啦。咁所以今日咧，我哋專家為大家咧提供嘅資訊咧，都希望俾到大家做一個個人參考啦。咁但係如果大家都需要更多方面嘅資訊啊，或者一啲即係 advice 嘅話咧，都可以歡迎私信我哋或者揾專業人士嘅意見咯。
係啊，咁同埋最後都同大家打下廣告啦。咁其實都我哋Juwai.Asia 嘅 Facebook 專頁啦，同埋 Juwai.Asia 嘅YouTube channel 啦。咁其實我哋都定時咧都會發放唔同嘅資訊啦。咁其實唔單止係項目㗎，其實我哋頭先都講過咧，就係海外即係去一個地方，其實有好多資訊，例如話可能係移民、投資、升學，其實等等好多資訊，其實我哋都希望透過呢個嘅網上即係線上平台咧，可以發放俾大家咯。咁希望大家可以多支持 like 我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁同埋 subscribe 我哋嘅YouTube channel 啦。係啊。咁其實好啦，我講翻今日我哋嗰個直播啦。咁其實首先想同大家分享下先，就係我哋其實呢幾個禮拜咧，其實尤其是呢個月啦，其實我哋都收到好多朋友同我哋即係查詢一啲關於係點去移民啊，或者移民去邊度嘅查詢。咁其實咩國家都有好多。咁其實咧即係比較最熱門咧，特別咧就係澳洲啦、新加坡啦、葡萄牙等等。咁其實我哋其實即係今日嗰個直播，其實除咗想同大家分享咧新加坡嗰個有啲優質有咩優質項目之外咧，其實主要都係想同一啲有興趣去移居新加坡嘅朋友啦，同埋或者係投資啦，甚至可能其實係可能我係有家庭嘅，咁我有小朋友，咁其實我都希望可以去第度升學啦。今日新加坡都係一個即係好熱門嘅地點啊。咁所以即係有見及此啦。其實我哋咧都希望可以透過今次嘅直播咧，同大家可以貼地啲，可以多方面去了解緊新加坡。其實無論呢個國家佢自己啦，呢個政府啦，或者係呢個社區啦，或者呢個地方，其實有啲乜嘢係我哋可以係值得留意下嘅。
係啊，所以咧今日我哋都好開心邀請到一位嘉賓啦，都唔可以話嘉賓，可能係朋友，因為其實都好有緣啊，就係喺工作上面咧，我哋就認識咗今日會上嚟同大家分享嘅嘉賓啦。咁佢喺新加坡其實從事咗房地產行業已經超過20年啦。咁就喺咁多年嚟認識咗好多唔同國家移居同移民去新加坡嘅一啲海外家庭。咁所以咧佢都好想趁住呢個機會同我哋即係分享下佢一啲經歷啦。咁然之後就係投資者同埋房產一啲買家咧都好想知道嘅一啲即係當地資訊啊等等咁樣嘅。
係啊，我覺得其實都幾有緣啊，因為其實我哋做嗰啲海外房產咧，即係 offline event 頭先講到，其實我哋即係喺個節目啊，我哋喺個即係活動上面即係認識到我哋呢位嘉賓。咁其實即係唔講唔知，哇！即係咩？即係新加坡，即係新加坡通嚟嘅，即係咩都知㗎。係啊。咁我哋其實都即係嗰次認識咗之後啦，咁其實我哋即係都on and off其實都有同佢一直都有 keep 住聯絡。咁其實喺新加坡嗰啲咩我都會問佢啦。咁其實我哋都知道其實佢都接觸咗好多唔同嘅客人，其實好多都係海外。咁其實海外其實當揾佢買樓當然有好多啦。咁其實亦都可能問佢其實有好多唔同新加坡其實即係當地即係唔講唔知嘅嘢咯。因為其實有時如果你去移民嘅話，其實有好多嘢你都要去諗㗎。係啊，
我哋呢位朋友佢就真係由你買樓前你去之前，或者買完樓水電煤嗰啲，佢都可以幫你即係全部搞掂晒，即係真係對 大家好好啦，完全大家唔使擔心去到一個陌生嘅地方，所有嘢其實都會有佢幫忙。另外就係佢都好好，因為其實我哋都收到好多觀眾嘅詢問，就係話新加坡嘅教育啦，咁所以佢今一次都揾咗佢一位教育方面嘅朋友上嚟同我哋分享啦，咁所以咧等一陣咧，大家都可以即係聽多啲啦，有關於升學顧問嘅一啲即係講下新加坡教育嘅一啲情況啦，同埋可以了解多啲，如果子女喺嗰邊升學嘅話，對申請移民又會唔會有一啲好處咧？係啊，
咁我相信其實呢啲咧，其實可能大家都會話其實我網上都可以即係都可以 search 啦，或者可以去咩啦，咁但係其實講真，你上網係要嘥啲時間嘅，即係你又要嘥啲時間去揾啦，亦都係我又唔知啱唔啱啦。咁所以其實咧，如果你揾到個當地信得過嘅人，其實佢可以話到俾你聽，咁其實咁啊真係最 perfect 啦。
係啊，所以我已經事不宜遲，將 Dominic 即係放咗出嚟。Hello
Dominic。Thank you Vanessa，Thank you Evan。Hello，大家好。
香港觀眾介紹下自己。
我係新加坡 Huttons 房屋顧問 Dominic 黃先生。唔好意思啊，我嘅廣東話講得唔係咁好，我講英文好冇啊？
冇問題，
冇問題嘅。我知道其實咧，Dominic其實你係即係會講英文啦，但係其實你完全識聽廣東話㗎。咁所以其實我哋其實呢個直播裏邊咧，即係我哋都會用翻廣東話，其實同觀眾去即係做翻啲
交
流，即係係啦，做少少 recap 啦，做少少翻譯咯。咁所以其實都唔使介意嘅，係啊。
OK，好啊，好啊。
OK，係啊，另外就係我哋都會將 Dominic 嘅聯絡資料咧，就已經放咗喺我哋 Facebook 嘅 comment box 啦。咁如果大家對 Dominic 嘅 present 有任何疑問啦，都可以即係 private message 我哋，或者直接喺 comment box 度咧就可以攞到啊 Dominic 嗰個 comment， 即係嗰個留言嘅資料㗎。
係啊，
聯絡資料係。
好，咁啊，將時間交俾你啦 ，Dominic。
Okay，can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Sorry, I don't speak Cantonese a lot in Singapore, but I do understand Cantonese. Just that I don't speak, so I'm going to use English to present the topics today. Okay.
Okay.
係。咁我哋喺度即係等阿 Dominic， 其實佢嘅 share 佢嗰個即係 screen 之前就都講多少少啦。其實咧，即係新加坡講真香港其實可能好多人都去過新加坡，亦都覺得新加坡嘅物價其實可能同香港非常之相似。咁但係點解我要投資新加坡或者我要移民新加坡咧？咁啊，其實阿 Dominic 其實佢喺呢個直播咧都會同我哋即係比較再分享多，即係再貼地少少，再深入少少，就係即係究竟有新加坡有啲乜嘢咁值得人哋去吸引嘅地方啦。好，我哋將時間交俾你 Dominic。
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you had a good dinner, and let's get ready to start. Yep. So today I'll be covering the topics on the question that a lot of Hong Kong people have asked about Singapore, and maybe some permanent resident options that's available. Singapore education will be presented by my partner. She's an educator for many years in international school in Singapore, and also the Singapore property buying process. At the same time, I'll be recommending a property known as Pullman Residence. As you know, Pullman is a branded hotel, and this condominium happened to be in partnership with Pullman, so it's a branded residence. Okay, so just an introduction. Yeah, sorry. It's just an introduction.
唔緊要，其實咧啱啱其實阿 Dominic 其實都即係都好詳盡咁同大家講翻，就係其實佢今日會同我哋會分享啲乜嘢啦。咁啊，其實咧嚟緊 Dominic 都會再介紹多自己自己。其實我哋講咗咁耐，從事廿幾年啦，即係都其實見識咗好多嘢啦。咁其實點解咧？咁 Dominic 繼續係啦。
Okay. So brief introduction myself. In Singapore, all our property agents have to be licensed, and this is the government agency that oversee the real estate agents, and then the public can go to the website to check to see whether a particular agent is licensed or not, or whether they have any complaints about them or not. Okay, so this is my official name card, and my license number is R046310A. Okay, actually I've been in the business since 2001. Okay, back about 20 years ago, or I've been in. I worked really hard, and in that year, in 2002, this is a newspaper cutting. I got the 35th position, and that is my face 20 years ago. Yeah, right. But right now, I'm with Huttons, and of course, I've received many awards. But in my opinion, the success comes from when my clients treat me like their personal friends. Okay, and this picture was taken just last week on the 9th of July. We took over a property for this family. This family is a Singapore PR. They actually came to Singapore in 2015. they bought a property then, but because of their granddaughter, the school of the granddaughter, they have to buy another property. So this is their second property. So when they were living here, I helped them with everything, internet banking, because she's not familiar how to do internet transfers and all that. And the mister bought a car. He bought a car last year, and then because his license wasn't ready, the translation has some issues. I had to help him go collect the car and help him send the car for maintenance. So the very gratifying comment that I got from them was when we went to take over this property. She said, "Thank you very much for being with us throughout the entire journey. And because you are a friend in Singapore, it makes the entire living in Singapore so much at ease. Okay, because whenever we have problems, we will just call you, right? So that is very humbling to me, and I'm very, very fortunate to have them trust me so much. Yeah."
係，其實頭先都聽你都提過啦。其實咧，即係你過去20年，即係其實你2001年開始入行啦。咁其實點解你可以建立到你自己咁成功嘅事業，同埋其實咁多個客戶都咁擁戴你咧？其實我覺得其實好大原因係因為你頭先提到就係你係用個心出去同人交朋友咯。當然啦，咁當然大家都有自己嗰個事業或者可能自己工作啦。咁啊，但係其實如果於工作識個朋友啊，或者可能係透過用你自己 expertise， 可能自己專業，其實你新加坡通啦。咁其實你可以將你自己嘅知識去幫到一啲真係好想嚟新加坡移居嘅人。好似啱啱你而家呢個啱啱幫到個家庭，其實可能升學啊、整車啊、開網上銀行啊。基本上呢個其實講真，老實咁講，其實一個點講咧？已經其實未必係一個工作，其實真係一個工作以外嘅範圍咯。但係其實我相信，有好多其實移居新加坡嘅人，講真，我除咗買樓之外，我其他都要㗎，水電煤啊，係咪先？水電煤講真，我揸車我都要。咁但係講真，喂，你就買層樓俾我，但係我乜都冇同我講，咁走，其實可能就爭少少咯。咁其實成功地可以去有一個 recurring 嘅一個客戶，或者可能更加 refer 更多客，可能都去揾阿 Dominic 你去幫忙。我相信真係一個朋友或者交朋友嘅心，或者係交心去幫佢一個好重要嘅基礎咯，真係啊。
So maybe I'll just share a little bit of my services that I provide. Okay, so what I do is whenever somebody has an interest in Singapore property, I will give them professional consultation based on their needs. Okay, so based on their needs and my years of experience, I will help recommend a few properties. And if they want to come to Singapore to see those properties, I'll pick them up from the airport, arrange viewing. And should we need to see a lawyer or a banker, I'll make all those arrangements. And when they go back to their country, okay, there's definitely a continuous need for them to supplement documents or even make payments. Yeah, all that I will help them. Okay, and like the family before, when taking over properties, there's a lot of procedure that you may not be familiar with. I'll be there to help you. And following which, like to open the utilities account, the internet account, I will be there to help you. Yes.
係啊，其實咁睇，其實睇見到 Dominic 佢都列就咁列啊，就咁講，佢都可以列到差唔多接近10點出嚟。咁其實講真，我要去另外一個地方買樓，係真係唔簡單咯。其實唔單止淨係話我啱啱呢個盤呢個項目，咁我就買啦。其實真係唔係一個咁諗得咁簡單嘅位。咁所以其實阿 Dominic 佢而家佢呢個佢佢用呢一個朋友嘅心情，或者去交朋友一個咁嘅方法去提供呢個服務，其實係間接咧，其實令到或者直接其實令到好多海外客戶咧係啊更有信心去呢個地方，甚至可能係更有信心去呢個項目，甚至係Dominic你咯，係啊。係啊，咁或者我講，都知道阿 Dominic 你係新加坡新加坡通啦。咁其實我想知道而家大家 COVID-19 呢個疫情，咁其實而家好多國家嘅疫情其實都反覆喎，好似我哋香港都係咁啦，即大家都小心啲。咁其實我想問下，咁其實新加坡而家其實係點咧？係啊，同埋政府
措施。
係啊。
Right. I think we have just opened up our economy. Okay, and then we're very fortunate because a lot of people were expecting the property price to collapse. We were expecting to see a lot of distress sales. But I guess nothing like that happened is because the government of Singapore has done a lot of planning way before. So I'm just going to share with you exactly why the property scene in Singapore, the property market in Singapore has not seen a drastic sell. In fact, we have recovered somewhat, and then the property sales is still very active. Okay, so I'm just going to bring you back to the cooling measures that the government introduced. back in 2005, when there was a massive spike in property prices, the government got really worried to prevent a bubble. They introduced 9 cooling measures. Okay, this to prevent buyers from speculating, from overcommitting, from taking too much loan. Okay, so these were the measures that they introduced. And there was seller stamp duty. That means they prevent people from buying a property and flipping the property before the building is even constructed. They prevent overstretching by reducing the loan amount. They prevent overcommitting by placing more additional buyer stamp duty. So even Singaporeans want to buy a second property, we have to pay additional buyer stamp duty. And the final biggest restriction, rather the cooling measure, was the total debt servicing ratio, which we call it a TDSR. Okay, so a person who wants to take a loan, the income of the person, the monthly income of the person comes into play. Okay, to prevent them from overborrowing. Yeah.
即係其實聽你講咧，即係其實新加坡政府其實即係早喺可能即係十幾年前咧，其實就因為有當其時樓市有嗰個樓市泡沫啦，咁其實當其時已經推出咗一系列嘅即係樓市調節啦，係啦，即係調節啊，咁令到其實就唔會話令到樓市會好反覆咯。咁其實我諗呢個經驗亦都帶俾新加坡政府去到今時今日呢個疫情，咁其實佢如何地去控制新加坡裏邊嗰個樓市啦，亦都有一啲降溫嘅措施去舒緩佢哋嗰個，即係唔好令到嗰個樓市又即係升得好勁啊，或者係跌得好勁啊。咁我相信其實多文嚟之後亦都同我哋將會再講多少少佢一點做咧，係啦。
Yep. So when the pandemic starts, okay, when we went to lockdown, the government immediately came with a lot of support measures. They told the banks that the homeowners are able to defer their mortgage payments till next year, January. So a lot of people who, even though they're out of jobs, business were collapsing, they don't have to worry about their mortgage payments for their homes. Okay, and a lot of support measures were introduced for individuals and businesses. So as you can see from the news article, bankruptcy applications were at its lowest even before since October 2016. So with that in mind, people who are on the sideline, they realized that property prices weren't coming down. And even though we were in lockdown, people were buying properties. You can see from this chart, in Q1 of 2020, there were 2,085 units, newly launched units that was being sold. Okay, but during our lockdown period, I emphasize the lockdown period, meaning that we are not able even to do sales activities. Everybody is supposed to be at home. The sales office were closed. The show flats were closed. But despite the pandemic lockdown, there were an estimated 1,369 units that was being sold. So people were buying properties without going to the site to visit. They were buying properties from presentation through online, like Zoom, like Facebook Live. Okay, they were just buying properties via online presentation. That's to me is really amazing. Yeah.
其實聽到你咁講咧，其實啱啱即係新加坡政府咧，佢個其中嘅紓困措施，我覺得其實即係我講真啦，即係我真心覺得香港政府可以學下，就係佢可以即係你又做咗按揭，咁你要每個月都供款㗎嘛，佢可以俾你去延遲。咁其實我覺得呢個係真係非常之好，因為大家而家疫情即係多多少少大家飯碗都會受到影響，或者可能即係都會有經濟壓力。咁其實即係如果你遲啲供款，我唔係又唔還，咁係即係我遲啲啫。咁但係其實已經可以幫到好多人。咁其實呢個樓市或者可能亦都唔需要話咁快俾即係俾銀行 call 窿啊，亦都唔需要話令到好多企業啊，或者可能係即係好多企業突然間會破產啊、倒閉啊嗰啲。咁我覺得其實呢個即係政府學下唔該，係啊，咁同埋其實頭先都聽你提到咧，就係即係其實嗰個即係交易嗰個情況，其實喺呢幾個月裏邊，新加坡都冇乜話特別太跌啦。其實我而家見到你個 slide 都話都係下跌1.1%。咁其實相比起澳洲，其實即係好似let's say澳洲其實之前都可能都跌咗都有好幾十啦。咁其實亦都另外我提到就係佢哋其實嗰交易某程度上佢出唔到去，佢就要喺網上好似我哋而家做緊直播，或者可能係買 Facebook Live 咁去睇個樓，咁就買咗。咁其實我都覺得好奇怪，就係或者可能你可能解釋多啲，就係你覺得我又唔係奇怪嘅，即係覺得喺透過網上你呢個即係你都好即係當然係即係經紀當然係身在其中啦。其實可以分享下。究竟有啲乜嘢因素點解買家會透過網上咁就買咧？差唔多超過100萬波子嘅喎，有好多都係。係咯，
完全都可能即係唔使去現場實地睇都好。
That's really amazing, right? Yeah. I guess the reason I can perceive why this is happening is because the government has been very, very transparent about the property. Okay, so like, a lot of information is available in government websites. Like, for example, I think it's pretty much the same as Singapore. So when a transaction takes place, okay, we can actually go to their websites to view the transaction. So be it whether you're a buyer or you're a seller, For example, right now I'm trying to introduce Pullman Residences to you. So if you're interested in this property, so you can actually come to this website and then selecting the property. You can see 2020. Okay, this was the transaction time, and then the price it was transacted, the unit per square foot price. So if somebody were presenting you a property, be it whether you're a local person or a foreigner, you can tell from the government website that, okay, the price that you're presenting to me is actually the market price. You're not presenting me a price that is 5% above or 10% above and trying to false selling me. Okay, so everything is very, very transparent. And besides this, okay, the government even have a website that is a map website. So when sales agents are telling you, okay, this particular location, it has close to MRT, like this one is 2 minutes walk to the MRT. So from this map, it's a government map, you can tell that the distance between the building and the MRT station is about 150 meters. Okay, and then you will rest assured that the information being provided to us is a true factual information. Yeah.
其實我覺得都幾似 Vanessa， 其實都幾似香港咧。其實呢個都係一個新加坡係啊，即係同香港好非常相似，就係香港都有田土廳啦。咁其實我哋去田土廳亦都可以隨時都睇到其實邊一個
交易啊，
所有嘅交易啊。咁啊，甚至可能係政府都有網站，就係香港或者可能本地有啲乜嘢地區係政府係要即係未來要發展啦。咁其實呢個都大家同大家都幾相似下喎。係啊係啊，
Correct. So that is why even during the lockdown, people were able to they saw that some developers were offering very good discount packages, and when they could compare the price on the government website, they realized that this is a real discount. Okay, not some sales gimmick. So when they realized that it's a real discount, they were quickly entering the market to purchase, even though they did not go to the site to visit these properties. Yep. So the government also share with us the development plans. So as a buyer, as a public, you are able to tell. And when there's a mega project that's coming up, like for example this one in 2019 National Day Rally, our PM Lee Hsien Loong actually came out to tell us the project that the government has put in place. So as an investor, as a buyer, I would want to purchase my property near this location because there's going to be a lot of upside, because the government shares this information with us. Yeah.
咁又幾好喎！即係其實佢可能即係政府即係不定時或者定時亦都會出一啲即係未來發展嘅路向啦。咁其實有好多可能投資者或者可能係真係有心，可能喺新加坡發展啊嘅投資者，佢即係經常可以睇到呢啲資訊嘅話，其實佢就會知道下一步政府會點發展，下一步政府點去計劃。咁其實我基本上講真投資者呢啲地捉到先機嘅話咧，咁咧你就買咧，咁到時候咁即係有冇發展潛力就睇自己眼光啦。當然啦，咁所以到最後要問翻多問題嘅。
And Singapore is really very small. We are only like 720 square kilometers wide, but you will see a lot of tall buildings. But in actual fact, the land use ratio, okay, for commercial buildings, for homes is only 17%. And the government actually have a lot of plans for what you call the parks and all that. Okay, so we are very rest assured that this place is not just about urban development buildings. The government actually has a lot of planning for parks and for entertainment and for relaxation as well. Yes.
係，其實呢個其實亦都即係再而家講緊咧就係一個2030年嘅即係新加坡嘅城市發展計劃啦。咁其實我哋都會知道其實即係未來政府亦都會加大呢個咁嘅 budget 啦。其實有好多地方可能有填海啦，咁亦都可能會咁填海就會起樓啦，咁起樓就會發展啦，咁發展就會有人住啦，咁有住可能有商業區、住宅區啦，咁到時候其實嗰個潛力就會好大啦。咁其實究竟之後咁下一步係點咧？係啦，咁當問題又要再問你啦。
Yeah. So a lot of people also wonder where is the property going to be? Is it a good time to buy? What's the potential of Singapore property? But like all things that we want to purchase for investment or for long term, we have to look at the supply and demand to understand where the market is heading towards. So we all know in terms of all products, okay, if there's a falling supply and there's an increased demand, definitely the prices will go up. Okay, so we all see this actually in during the start of the pandemic, whereby the whole entire world ran out of masks, and then the mask prices were like face mask prices was like going crazy. But let's not touch on that. Okay, let's look back into Singapore property, the supply and demand for Singapore property. Okay, so this is from the government. Sorry. 即係你咁講，其實就係而家你講緊我哋即係分析，你而家開始分析我哋
嘅新加坡樓市啦，咁其實就會係關於一個供應同埋供求，供應同埋需求。咁其實而家新加坡供應同需求係點嘅情況咧？
同埋係咪一個好嘅時機去買新加坡嘅房產，同有冇潛力咧
？Correct. Okay, so this is information from the government website. So we can see that for the past 10 years, okay, the supply has been in the range of average of 12,000 units, but the demand has slowly crept up from 9,500 to 13,700 per annum. Okay, but that is the past 10 years. But let's look at forward the pipeline plan for the next 5 years. So this is the pipeline plan for the next 5 years. We are averaging about 10,000 units a year for the next 5 years. So if the demand continues to be at 13,700, we are going to be in an undersupply situation. And on top of that, because of this current pandemic, the plan for this year 2020 has been cut by about 23%. Because of the pandemic, the government is going to reduce the land sales. So there is definitely going to be a supply issue for this year. But looking back at the past 5 years, we are definitely going to see a shortage of supply in the coming years. Okay, next 5 years. Okay, so with that in mind, this is the supply situation in Singapore. Let's look at the demand situation in Singapore. Okay, back in 2012 or maybe even earlier, there were a group of people who were looking into the population of Singapore, and they realized that we're going to have a mega aging population issue, because by 2030, if nothing changes, every 2 working adults income is going to be supporting 1 retirement adult. Okay, so that is very scary. Okay, so with that in mind, the government in 2013 introduced white paper population, and they plan for 6.9 million people by 2030. So this is the numbers that the government is planning to achieve by 2030. So with that in mind, let's look at the statistics of Singapore. Okay, Singapore's natural increase for the past 10 years has been in about 20,000. By natural increase, I would mean that at any given year, okay, the number of people who passed away and the number of natural births, okay, you take that together, and this would be the natural increase of Singapore at any given year. And you can see in the past 3 years, actually, it's been reduced to 18,000 and 17,000 per year. And right now, our population is at 5.8. Okay, meaning to say that we are 1.1 million away from the target of 6.9 million people. And with our natural increase, it's going to be like 18,000 to 20,000, meaning to say that in the next 10 years, the natural increase numbers can only be between 180,000 to 200,000. So where are the 800,000 to 900,000 people going to come from? Okay, that would be the plan for the government to introduce new citizens and welcome permanent residents and foreign workforce. These people who are going to come in at the beginning, when they come in, they are definitely not going to be able to buy public properties. They are definitely only be able to buy private properties. So is it considered an increased demand? Will there be a skyrocketing of property prices in Singapore in the near future? I leave you to decide on that. Yeah.
聽你咁講，其實咧嗱，即係新加坡房地產嗰個供應咧，其實就會係越嚟越少啦。咁尤其是而家呢段時間呢半年，咁其實就嗰個 COVID-19 啦，咁其實政府佢都即係減低咗嗰個賣地啊，或者其實起樓都嗰個速度都會減慢咗好多。咁其實就會形成咗個供應量少啦。咁供應量少係另一方面啦。咁另一方面就係嗰個即係人口老化啦。咁人口老化其實就係即係當然啦，人口老化咁即係越老嘅人就會越多啦。咁其實亦都另一方面就會係生育率低。咁生育率低又人口老化啦，咁即係人越嚟越少啦。咁其實而家啱啱聽阿多明嚟講，其實而家新加坡有580萬人，但係其實佢哋嗰個2030年嗰個計劃，其實佢係要達到嗰個國家係要690萬咯。係啦，係啊，咁如果要填補翻中間嘅110萬嘅人口，咁點算咧？咁啊咧生又生唔切啦，係咪先？咁啊即係 pass away 嘅人越嚟越多啦，咁點算咧？係咪先？咁所以其實咁當然啦，咁呢個就會依賴嗰個人才輸入啊，同埋嗰個新移民入嚟新加坡咯，係啊，
Yep. And this plan of the government is definitely taking effect right now. Okay, so in 2013, they've already started work on making sure that the country is ready to accept the influx of population growth. Okay, so the government has started planning for the housing, has started planning for the medical facilities, the parks and all that, the entertainment areas, and of course the infrastructure. Okay, so you can see that after 2013 news, immediately the government went into building public housing for the local citizens to make sure that this public housing will be able to meet the needs of the local people. Okay, and then as you can see from this box right here, a lot of the infrastructure, the MRT lines and all that will be completed in 2025. So I'm in the opinion that the government will start to relax the immigration rules maybe from 2025 when all the infrastructure and everything is about ready. Okay, and of late, the past 3 to 4 years, we have seen new what they call hospitals, okay, being opened in the past 3 to 4 years. About 4 hospitals, in fact. Yeah.
係，咁其實聽你咁講咧，其實即係當然啦，政府推出一個2030年嗰個計劃啦，咁其實佢咁希望有人才入嚟，希望可以填補翻嗰110萬個空間。咁當然梗係啦，即係當然即係你當地一定要有啲即係基本嘅配套設施喎。係啦，
房屋啊、交通啊、醫療啊等等啦，同埋我哋都知道即係新加坡政府咧都係計劃咧喺2030年咧係令到即係80% 嘅市民或者居民咧係居住喺可以喺10分鐘步程內嘅一啲即係沿線上啦，咁所以我諗佢哋都有一個即係好完善嘅計劃。
即係都唔希望大家可能住啲地方可能越嚟越遠啊，咁啊塞車塞到唔知去俾到幾多啊，咁所以其實佢哋應該係諗得好詳盡咁先推呢個咁嘅計劃出嚟。咁係啦，咁啊講咗咁耐啦，咁又計劃又要填補嗰110萬啊。咁其實講新移民，咁究竟新加坡佢嗰個移民計劃，咁有冇啲咩特別嘅地方，或者其實而家嗰個其實如果我有興趣，即係佢有興趣移民，
好多香港觀眾朋友都。即係而家最近好多人都會睇海外房產啦，揾下有咩國家適合移民啦。咁如果新加坡嘅話，佢哋又有啲乜嘢途徑去移民新加坡咧？可唔可以麻煩 Dominic 同我哋 share 一下
？Okay, let me talk about the permanent residence options for Singapore. Actually, Singapore permanent residence is a highly sought after permanent residence certificate. Okay, because I think naturally because Singapore is multicultural. So people like from Indonesia and Malaysia would love to come to Singapore because there are people who speak Malay in Singapore. People from India would like to come to Singapore because there are Indians in Singapore that can speak Tamil or Hindi. Okay, and people from Taiwan, they can come to Singapore because people speak Hokkien. Okay, in Minanyu. And there are people who speak Cantonese as well, so it's very comfortable for people who are from Hong Kong to come here. And definitely there are a lot of Chinese people here who can also speak Mandarin for people who are coming from China. Okay, and our main language, although is English, but we are multilingual. Okay, and then we are multicultural. And of course, people also appreciate the fact that Singapore is a very safe country. It's a very good place to do business in. And more importantly, it's a very good place for their children to grow up because Singapore has one of the best education system in Singapore. Okay, and with that limited space and the amount of people that are coming in, the government is very, very strict, okay, about who they offer the permanent residence to. So there are 2 core principles for their approval, in my opinion. Okay, so number 1 is that individual must be able to contribute economically to the country, and secondly, they must be able to socially integrate with the people of Singapore. They do not want to offer this what they call permanent residence to somebody who come here and create a lot of problems for the local citizens. Yeah.
佢聽你咁講，其實都大概都會了解到，其實即係好多都即係其實當然唔單止係香港人啦，其實有好多其他國家都好希望可以移居新加坡。其實可能有好幾個原因，首先就係文化啦。咁文化其實三文兩語，其實我諗而家我同阿 Dominic 我哋而家咁嘅溝通，其實都可以大家體會到，即係我哋講廣東話，其實你係完全識聽。咁其實當然啦，你都會識講嘅。咁當然啦，英文啊、普通話啊、閩南話啊，其實基本上我相信你都識講好多啦。其實咁其實另外一個即係文化，大家都可以好快咁去融入到啦。即係就算你話印度，咁我知道新加坡其實有個地區叫小印度啦。咁其實亦都食好多海南雞飯啊、串燒啊，都係馬來式嘅嘢食啦。咁其實當然啦，粵式都有好多啦。咁就有唐人街啦。咁其實即係適合即係東南亞或者可能係其他世界各地都會去新加坡都一個唔錯嘅選擇啦。咁另外就係安全。咁安全其實大家呢個其實即係可能未必會第一時間會諗到，但係其實諗下其實安全呢樣嘢都幾緊要。即係其實一個地方可能佢穩定佢安全，其實你已經可以好放心咁喺度住咯。其實係
Yep. Okay, so let me share with you the options that's available for applying a Singapore permanent residence. Okay, there are 3 main routes that I understand. Okay, that foreigners are able to apply for Singapore permanent residence. One is a direct application through the government. It's called the Global Investor Program. One is through employment, or an individual can invest in a company. Okay, I'll touch on that a bit later. And the third method is through children's education, because the child who graduate in Singapore's university will work here, and then they can get the PR really easily. So for the Global Investor Program, it will take about 2.5 million investment amount, and the entire process takes about 9 to 12 months. Okay, and for the employment sector, this is very customized. It's very dependent on who is the particular individual, and then we will assess. Okay, and then find a particular business that's suitable for the individual, and it ranges from 400,000 Singapore dollars to 1 million, and the entire process takes about 2 to 3 years. Of course, the children education is only when the child becomes an adult. Yeah.
咁聽你咁 其實大概可以分到3類啦。咁啊，第一類其實我相信就即係直接投資移民啦。咁啊，其實即係可能少部分嘅人會適合，咁大部分嘅我哋香港人，即係包括我自己，其實應該都唔使諗啦。其實咁其實需要投資，可能即係投資250萬呢個 million， 其實而家係講緊係新加坡紙啦，咁亦都幾千萬啦。咁其實第二類咧，其實第二類就可能就即係比較多家庭或者係年輕家庭，或者可能係30幾40歲嘅家庭或者係人士就比較適合。首先你嗱當然啦，頭先都講到你最大2個嘅要訣咧，喺新加坡入籍咧就係你要對經濟貢獻啦，咁當然你投資啦嚇。咁第二咧其實就係你要同社會融合。咁你社會融合就無論你文化，咁你去到當然你要生活啦。呢個唔係就咁匿喺唐人街就算噶嘛。咁可能我都要，我就要喺個當地可能無論我係要做嘢啦，咁其實我去即係生意啦，咁我要去創業啦。咁其實呢個都係對新加坡當地其實都有個經濟貢獻同埋係一個社會融合咯。咁即係我要成為一個真正嘅新加坡人，咁我一定要做晒呢兩樣嘢。咁呢個可能就比較適合多即係比較多嘅即係年輕家庭啊，或者可能真係咧趁早越早去嘅。咁呢個就可能都可以考慮。咁啊，第3樣可能嚟阿 Dominic 都會再同佢講多少少，就係點解 children education 其實會係即係小朋友去自己去讀書，其實點解都會幫到移民咧？咁係啦。
Yep. Okay, so I'll touch very quickly on on each individual processes. It may seem a little bit complicated or too much to digest, but not to worry. If you have any questions with regards to this, can always text me and let me know. I will be very detailed to help you to go through this entire process. Okay, so not to worry because we have a very limited time and I'm just running through things very quickly. Okay, but if you have any questions, please, my number is available. You can always consult me anytime. So let me just touch on the
因為時間緊迫關係咧，咁啊Dominic都話大家唔使擔心啊，即係見到呢個表好似望落去好多嘢好複雜咁，但係唔係嘅，你可以即係隨時喺翻 Facebook 度啦，咁就攞到佢嘅 contact 咧，可以直接聯絡佢，佢唔會怕麻煩，即係盡力去解答大家問題嘅。
所以其實睇即係Dominic自己有幾個經驗，即係無論可能係服務上或者可能做直播咧，都知直播其實時間緊迫嘅，全部我哋都係即係輕帶過咁啊，當然啦，咁事後我哋可以再聯絡Dominic啦，係咯，係啦。
Okay, so I'll touch on the Global Investor Program first, and under this program, like I told you, the core principle is the government needs to make sure that you are able to contribute economically to the Singapore society. So because you are not a known person, they have to check your background, and the criteria is really very very strict. Okay, so in order to fulfill this, they need to make sure that the criteria, you are able to meet the criteria. So if you are an existing business owner, your annual turnover must be about 200 million to 500 million Singapore dollars. And if you are a new found company, your company must worth at least 500 million Singapore dollars. And if you are a family office principal, you must have investable assets of at least 200 million. Okay, so if you are able to meet this criteria, the options that you are able to fulfill to invest in is basically 2.5 million in these 3 options. And once that's all in place, you can submit your application online, or you can seek us for your help, and we can prepare all documents for you to submit this online for you. Okay, yep. So that is a very strict process, but you can get there if you fulfill all the criteria. The other method is through employment. If you're a high caliber individual or very, very highly skilled, a lot of companies in Singapore will want to employ you. But if not, we can also look at the investment in a local essential business. For example, like accounting firm and all that. We will do the research for you and to make sure that this company is worthy of your investment. And when you are, how does this work? So when you invest in an essential business, so basically what's going to happen is you will be employed as a director because it's your business anyway. Okay, so you will receive an employment pass. And with this employment pass, your spouse and your children can get their dependent pass. So your children can go to school in Singapore. So they can have an entry permit into Singapore without having to apply for social visit or extended passes and all that. So, and with this investment in this company and the employment that you have as a director, you would have paid your personal income tax and corporate income tax for your business. At the same time, because you employ Singaporean workers, they would have been paying Singapore their own income tax. And also you'll be contributing to their retirement account called the CPF in Singapore. And over the past next 2 years, okay, because you live in Singapore and there's no issues being recorded, you would have deemed to have blended into the society. And at a point of time, if you were to apply for a permanent residence, more high percentage of you getting this permanent residence, okay, because you have fulfilled the economic contribution, you would have integrated to the society well, okay.
咁其實佢呢個咁嘅即係移民嗰個即係審核程序，其實同外國好多嘅國家都幾相似。 係啊，咁其實你首先當然啦，如果你即係受聘於新加坡啲大公司啦，咁其實某程度上佢同佢做擔保啦，咁其實佢俾個 employment pass 你，咁其實即係你有咁嘅所謂嘅即係佢僱用 visa 啦，咁你 visa 嘅話，其實你唔單止你自己，其實你屋企人、你嘅老婆仔女其實都可以去到新加坡合法咁去居住，咁你嘅小朋友亦都可以合法喺當地去申請學校去住。咁其實呢一個係一個好基本，就係我嚟到一個國家生活，咁其實我都要搞掂我老婆仔女啦，係咯。咁其實呢個當然啦，咁你透過你嘅即係喺新加坡工作，其實咁你就要交稅啦。咁其實好多其實地方一樣，咁你嘅經濟貢獻就係因為你喺當地即係工作啦，咁你有交稅啦，咁你有交稅，咁當然啦，咁你就會係有經濟貢獻。咁同埋其實你喺當地做嘢亦都可以符合到佢哋嗰個社會融合咯。係啊。
Yep. And of course, the last what I call the option is through children education. And in Singapore, we have schools from the government schools, which is well renowned. And then, but it's very difficult to get in at the moment. But then there's also private schools that follow the Singapore schools curriculum, and there's also international schools that follow their own curriculum. With that, I think I'll hand it over to Liang Lao Shi, okay, who's an expert in education, and then maybe she can share a little bit more on the education system of Singapore. OK， 係啦。
咁其實第三樣咧，其實就係講到就係咁嗰個即係仔女喺新加坡讀書個教育咧，其實都係會幫到移民啊。咁移民其實即係當然啦，咁阿Dominic都話咁Dominic嘅朋友就即係可以請到上嚟，咁就同係一個即係國際學校嘅資深，但係國際學校嘅代表啦。咁其實佢喺新加坡即係國際學校裏邊都做好多嘅教育顧問啊。咁所以其實咧，即係好多謝Dominic，亦都好多謝即係教育顧問嘉賓上嚟啦 ，Catherine 啦，咁其實同我哋可以講下其實點樣 children education 可以幫到移民咧？其實呢樣嘢
係因為頭先都有提到就話新加坡教育啦，咁學校其實都分兩類啦，咁就政府學校都同香港好似嘅，政府學校咁樣，同埋就係private 啦，啲私人同埋國際學校啦。咁Catherine 咧嚟緊就可以幫我哋介紹一下嘅。Catherine，hello， 聽唔到你
，hello，
可能要開翻聲先，
開翻咪先 ，hello Catherine。
你好
，Catherine
先講廣東話喎。
係啊。
咁多位晚上好。
Hello， 係頭先我哋就喺度講到就係話，即係移民嘅話咧，即係除咗我俾錢投資啦，或者當地做嘢啦，咁其實有一樣比較重要啲，亦都可能好多家庭或者可能香港人嘅家庭都需要留意，就係原來小朋友去到新加坡升學咧，其實係有利於佢哋去移民。咁點解係申請移民嘅？咁點解咧？
相信大家都知道啦，其實喺好多方面啦，新加坡會同好多比較先進國家，包括好似甚至美國或者日本一樣啦，其實佢嘅移民咧係比較重視係高級嘅人才啦，所以咧其實特別新加坡本身嗰個出生率係非常之低嘅，咁佢亦都需要不斷咁樣輸進移民啦，咁所以嘅話咧，如果你係通過一個升學嘅方式、讀書嘅方式咧，其實呢個機會係好大嘅，所以包括其實如果小朋友啦，我哋甚至有一啲咧係佢通過從小學甚至小學就已經開始有可能攞到綠卡啦。即係話你，如果你，比如你入到政府嘅學校啦，你成績好啦，佢會主動咁樣去將呢個綠卡嘅資格係政府移民廳嗰邊會去offer 俾你啦。
係，咁其實如果係嘅話，其實首先即係佢哋小朋友越細個嚟越就越比較越好喎。
係比較會有優勢啦，因為你嘅可能性同埋機會會多啲。因為當你比如你通過小學嘅成績啦、小學畢業嘅成績啦，到中學啦、到高中啦、大學等等，佢喺每一個階段都會俾你唔同嘅機會。
係，明白。咁應該咁講啦，其實亦都可以都配合翻，就係頭先Dominic講嗰兩個就可以入籍嘅條件，就係你社會融合。咁你喺當地讀書，咁你一定係喺嗰度，即係喺嗰度順便落地生根啦。咁你去到做嘢，咁順便都有埋個經濟嘅貢獻咯。其實係，係。咁你教同我哋介紹多少少，其實你而家新加坡即係嗰個升學情況，因為我知道其實好多好多香港人其實都有即係送去小朋友嚟新加坡讀書。其實你嘅客戶其實近排有冇多到啊？其實定係你平時唔係喎，其實我平時都好多嘅。其實
係因為而家新加坡
其實講真啦，大家都會清楚，其實香港同埋新加坡呢個 two cities 其實係幾多相似之處㗎。咁但係咧。我相信大家都會能夠可以，包括從新聞啊各方面，無論係話讀書好、移民好、買樓好，其實喺呢1-2年確實係 多咗好多，唔係一般嘅多。
咁即係其實即係當然亦都反映翻咧，其實新加坡都係一個非常之即係香港好受歡迎嘅城市去移民啦，佢哋。咁其實我相信即係都大家嘅觀眾都好想知道，究竟而家新加坡嗰個嗰個申請啊，係申請學校啊，
程序係點樣？
係啦，咁同我哋分享多啲咧。
冇問題。希望幫到大家啦。
好，我知道都有個 PowerPoint 會同佢 share 俾大家睇嘅。係啦，咁或者我 Vanessa 其實講下先啦。其實我知道我之前都喺澳洲讀書啦。咁其實有好多同學都係喺新加坡嚟。咁其實要聽到唔少就係話，其實可能佢即係有啲即係其他同學就係首先佢去咗，佢未必新加坡人嚟嘅，但係可能其實佢去咗新加坡讀書。之後咧就再去其他地去多國家即係去國家再讀大學嘅。咁有一啲咧就係其實就係香港人嚟嘅。咁其實佢喺新加坡本身住變咗新加坡人，咁啊讀下書咧就順便去埋其他去而家國家讀書。咁其實即係新加坡都係一個即係都係一個可以即係大家考慮地方就係一個 stepping stone 咯。係啊。OK， 咁
或者唔緊，我哋呢邊幫阿 Catherine share。
已經得啦，你哋睇到嘛？
唔緊要，我哋用我哋嗰
我哋
呢邊
係我哋呢邊都可以嘅，係啦。
所以其實你嗰邊睇唔到。
唔緊要，我哋呢邊都得嘅，係啦。咁啊，而家呢度咧，其實呢個咧，其實都講翻阿 Catherine，其實佢嘅資訊啦。咁其實同埋或者可能有 QR code，大家可以 scan 翻啦。咁其實大家都唔緊要嘅，或者可能有好多升學嘅問題，或者我哋未有即係帶到出嚟啦。咁其實大家都可以喺 comment box 嗰度留言啦。咁亦都可以喺我哋 PM 我哋即係 Facebook PM 我哋，咁我哋都稍後同大家解答翻咯。係啊。係請開始 Catherine 係。
好。我哋今晚咧就亦都會首先多謝咁多位啦，嚟聽我哋對新加坡嘅介紹啦。咁正頭先所講啦，其實新加坡同香港呢兩個城市有好多相似之處啦。當然亦都隨住時代嘅發展，大家亦都會有一啲不盡相同嘅地方。咁我哋會首先啦嚟睇一睇啦，比如以我哋無論係邊個國家嘅家長，可能喺考慮學生要去留學嘅時候，可能最重要嘅一方面，當然係安全度啦。咁我相信呢一點咧，新加坡喺全世界都好出名噶啦。佢亦都係叫做東方瑞士。咁治安方面咧，大家會睇得到，全球嘅最安全城市，佢係排喺同日本係差唔多啦，都係數一數二嘅。咁佢嘅犯罪率咧，亦都係好低嘅。咁當然啦，低到乜嘢程度咧？即係話比如政府咧已經係所講嘅話，no crime doesn't mean no crime doesn't mean no crime。佢係低犯罪率唔代表冇犯罪率，因為佢係用呢個嚟提醒我哋嘅所有嘅居民啦，就話你唔好當乜嘢都冇問題嘅，其實都仲係要去注意啦。但係即係從呢一方面可以睇出咧，其實係新加坡嘅嗰個高度法治社會同埋佢嗰個犯罪率嘅嗰個係非常之低嘅。咁所以咧，你呢度咧可以好放心咁樣去生活啦。咁可能喺呢個時期嚟講係好重要㗎，因為呢一兩年講真啦，全世界都多多少少有啲問題，包括歐洲好、美國好。
係，咁其實因為講真啦，即係升學咁，其實牽涉子女啦、家庭啦，咁其實好多人其實去外地，即係去外地做嘢啦。講緊即係其實佢哋安排自己同學仔女去一個新嘅地方去生活或者讀書，其實佢哋講真，錢唔係最緊要，最緊要係安全，係啦。係啊，咁所以其實即係而家你去升學，咁當然啦，第一純粹除咗佢嗰個即係教育嗰個系統啊，或者個升學途徑啊，有冇好嘅前景啊？即係頭先我話齋，即係可能其實我喺新加坡讀書，其實一個非常之好嘅銜接。如果再去其他國家升學，好似英國啊、澳洲啊嗰啲係啦，咁亦都係一個唔錯嘅選擇咯，係啦。好。
新加坡係全球最佳跳板。
係啊。係。
咁下一個啦，安全除咗頭先所講嘅嗰個治安之外啦，咁而家我相信全世界亦都係呢啲問題會此起彼落㗎啦。咁喺新加坡嚟講咧，政府係非常非常之重視種族和諧， 政府係會好嚴格咁樣去控制，包括你話如果有種族歧視啊呢啲，佢其實好快下個禮拜21號咧，7月11號咧係新加坡每一年嘅種族和諧日。佢係因為本身啦，你會睇得到我呢個 chart 入邊啦，無論從你00年。即係話而家係我睇到個表啦，10年前再10年前，你會睇到佢嗰個人口比例其實係幾穩定㗎。但係事實上咧嚟講咧，大家可能都會清楚喺一個社會入邊啦，你會睇得到本身嗰個佔比70%嘅一直都係華人啦。咁華人咧喺全世界嚟講都係屬於會比較重視升學啊、讀書啊，同埋實現人生嘅目標啊，可能佢會喺當地嚟講任何一個地方，只要佢哋努力嘅話咧，其實基本上係喺學歷上，甚至乎可能平均收入上都會稍為高嘅。咁越係呢種情況出現咧，變咗咧嗰啲高學歷、高收入嘅人咧，佢就越唔願意去生 BB 啦。咁其實政府咧係喺呢方面做咗好多，已經係大家覺得咦有啲誇張啦。比如咧，佢會喺嗰個 MRT 入邊啦，我哋叫地鐵啦，新加坡叫 MRT， 佢已經可以去做一啲廣告，已經有啲露骨啦，變咗咧有啲家長好似唔可以咁過分咯，因為影響，即係其實嗰個政府係不斷咁去推，要去保持呢個種族嘅比例啊，同埋平衡啊。咁至於所謂嘅排外排華，因為新加坡咧係會比較國際化嘅城市啦，咁同埋咧佢喺排華方面係完全唔需要擔心，因為你睇呢個咁樣嘅表格。其實一直以嚟，華人喺呢個國家裏邊就係佔最大嘅比例，所以咧，特別啦 ，COVID-19 之後啦，你全世界都有可能，佢唔係淨係話排華人啦，甚至係亞裔都會受到一啲唔同程度嘅不公平待遇啊，或者一啲可能你意想唔到嘅一啲可能啦。咁所以咧，新加坡係完全唔可能嘅發生嘅呢啲。
係明白，即係其實都回應翻當面嚟頭先佢喺度講啦，其實就係因為即係即係政府其實佢嗰個需求其實就係有 aging population 啦，生育率低啦，咁其實好需要即係外地好多新移民入嚟，咁其實新移民入嚟其實一定係會有一啲可能即係文化上嘅文化上嘅衝撞啦，咁係種族嘅衝撞啦，咁其實即係政府都其實除咗基建之外，即係有一啲嘅
好多軟性方面
咧，即係軟件措施其實佢都好有考慮到，就係咁你唔同嘅即係國籍嘅人士喺度，一定係有少少衝撞嘅，因為大家可能我食咖喱你唔食咖喱啦，係咪先最簡單？咁其實可能佢都有好多措施，就係希望大家可以覺得新加坡其實係一個即係國際大家庭啦，大家都係生活同一個地方，都希望可以和諧咯。係。好，你講下健康評估啦。
咁喺呢一方面啦，相信其實喺而家亞洲嚟講啦，包括香港好或者日本好啦，其實都係會幾唔錯嘅一個所謂嘅衞生水平啊，或者係健康嘅一個水平啦。咁你都會可以睇得到呢個表入邊啦，你會睇到新加坡咧係排第二嘅，其實新加坡好多都排第一、第二，包括呢個 COVID-19，你會睇得到呢個係今年嘅5月26號嘅一個報表啦，你會睇到新加坡嘅嗰個所謂嘅 COVID-19 嘅死亡率係去到0.1嘅。係，
咁即係其實佢控制都幾好咯，講真，即係無論
係醫療嘅一個水平啦。
即係反映翻其實佢當地嗰個防疫措施啦、醫療水平啦，咁其實亦都可以。當身為一個國際城市，咁呢啲水平一定係即係達到係國際級咯。其實大家亦都唔需要話即係擔心，我病咗會唔會啲醫生點啊或者點啦？咁其實都應該都 OK 嘅，係啦。
佢嗰個水平高度係乜嘢咧？新加坡係專門有一個叫做medical visa， 就係話咧歡迎其他國家嘅人咧過嚟攞呢個 visa 係嚟睇醫生嘅。其實幾多包括好似隔離馬來西亞嘅一啲嗰啲咁嘅總理啊、總統之類有病，其實好多時佢哋會直接飛過嚟，私人飛機過嚟新加坡呢邊去做醫療啦。所以其實佢唔單止喺東南亞，甚至乎全球，其實佢都係幾有聲譽㗎。
係，咁除咗醫療，其實即係食物嘅安全都好緊要啦，係咯。
咁喺呢方面咧，新加坡嘅嗰個食品安全咧係全球第一嘅，因為佢有一個特殊嘅原因，係因為你哋都會清楚，新加坡係比較細嘅國家啦。其實佢好多嘢，特別喺食品啊，好多貨物供應啊，其實佢都係進口嘅。咁亦都係一個轉口嘅一個好多轉口嘅貿易嘅一個地方啦。所以佢變咗咧， 正因為呢啲係全球嘅食品，所以咧佢哋喺呢邊基本上我哋係99%都會會有檢疫啦，所以咧佢嗰個安全度可以講係可以令到佢排喺世界第一嘅。
咁樣其實都幾似香港，其實因為香港都係一個比較細嘅地方啦。其實你未必去到可以自給自足。咁其實好似新加坡咁，其實佢好多嘢基本上都係要入口啊。咁你入口嘅話，其實你即係要 make sure 大家都要即係食得健康、食得好嘅話咧，其實第一防疫措施做得好好。咁其實即係如果見到即係其實大家生活喺即係最基本生活，無論我衣食住行，其實都已經可以 cover 到啦，已經。
大家可以睇到呢個圖裏邊啦，我哋講有關嗰個房屋嘅問題啦。其實你會見到你麻煩你翻上一頁。
得，冇問題。
你會睇到呢一個 building 啦。其實你會覺得呢個係有一個好唔錯嘅一個 property， 可能會係一啲比較高級嘅住宅，係咪？但係其實佢係新加坡嘅組屋，即係等於你哋香港應該叫公屋啊。淨係居屋係屬於政府屋嚟嘅。咁咧，佢嘅嗰個每一個所有呢啲咁樣嘅政府屋咧，其實咧佢都係開放式嘅，即係話咧唔似話公寓，佢仲叫做有保安或者有包圍。但係咧，儘管佢係指一個開放式，但係其實佢嘅安全度會非常高，包括好多人有陣時可能連鎖匙都放喺門口或者手機唔記得基本上你翻轉頭去都一定喺度㗎。
係，咁即係其實即係你都啱啱提開呢個點咧，就係其實即係如果我做咗即係入咗籍做新加坡人之後咧，咁其實有啲乜嘢嘅即係除咗教育之外，其實呢個房屋嘅福利都會有咯。
一定會有，包括教育方面你讀書嘅啦，你居住嘅啦，包括甚至乎水電煤呢啲都會有相關，即係各種嘅唔同嘅福利啦。當然佢會睇你係PR， 即係話叫綠卡淨係公民啦，咁佢會有少少區別啦。
係，好，我哋去下一頁。
唔該。
係啦。
咁再嚟當然啦，就最好重要嘅一樣就係話，既然講留學升學，咁佢嘅學術水平同埋認可度係好重要嘅。咁其實新加坡嘅我呢度仲留咗一個其實基本上係呢幾年嗰個所謂全球嘅 IQ 排名IQ 排名，新加坡係一直喺第一嘅。咁當然後邊其實前名基本上都係亞洲國家比較多啦。咁包括喺全世界嘅一啲比賽學術比賽各種模聯比賽佢哋都可以。儘管好細嘅國家，好少嘅人口，但係咧基本上佢哋都係可以喺各種嘅國際比賽裏邊咧，可以攞到好好嘅一個成績啦。咁你會睇到右手邊呢個叫做PISA 嘅一個考試啦，佢其實係全世界舉辦嘅一個所有15歲以上嘅中學生嘅一個即係話一個平均嘅一個水平。咁咧你會睇到呢一度咧，佢係每3年先一次嘅啫，所以對上一次咧係18年，再上一次咧係15年。咁15年嗰時咧，新加坡係第一嘅；18年咧變咗咧，中國係第一。咁但係中國咧佢只係上海參加，即係唔係佢嘅平均值啦。咁你會睇到其實基本上好多屆新加坡都係排第一嘅，而且佢會比嗰啲後邊嗰啲第2第3往後邊嘅嗰啲排名咧會高出好多。咁從呢一個咧，因為呢個係全世界做一個評估嘅，佢會包括聽説讀寫包括係數學科學都會有。
明白。咁其實呢個咁嘅成績，其實亦都反映翻咧新加坡佢嗰個教育，即係教育方式教育嗰個系統，係即係可以培養到呢個人才出嚟咯。咁其實所以即係大家周行觀眾而家可能心喐喐喺度諗緊，其實新加坡應唔應該去咧？其實我覺得即係頭先都講咗啦，即係無論可能即係移民又好，或者可能升學嗰個水平都好，或者質素都好，其實真係越細個都會越好咯。其實係。
另外點解會講佢係一個好好嘅升學嘅跳板啦？咁你可以睇到我哋先會了解一下新加坡，簡單了解佢教育啦。其實儘管咧新加坡咧建國先至50幾年啦，但係咧其實佢嘅嗰個教育嘅歷史啦，可以推返去大概200年前200年前啦。佢其實係完全係走英聯邦嘅體系嘅。咁你會睇到佢而家呢啲學校全部都係100幾年建嘅，而家全部都喺度正常運作緊。
係，即係其實都係即係其實佢嗰個
都係英系
體系都係英系嘅，即係都係英國化比較多啲咯。咁其實呢個都同香港比較相似啦。咁咁但係大家嗰個即係適應個程度就會快啲同埋容易啲咯。 呢個其實就呢個係咪即係講緊？
好容易銜接。
係啦。
咁包括啦，你會睇得到啦，我哋啱啱先至啱啱進行咗大選啦喺新加坡啊，你會睇到我哋呢邊嘅所謂內閣啦，即係所謂嘅領導人啊 leaders 啦，其實你會睇到50%以上都係畢業自英國嘅名校，你會睇李顯龍啦、劍橋啊，我哋其他嘅作副總理啊、人力部啊或者外交部啊，基本上佢哋大部分就係英系嘅名校啦，牛津劍橋啊、倫敦政經啊等等。基本上都係嗰啲最 top 嘅大學。
咁其實呢個睇到就係咧，其實如果你喺新加坡本身讀書啦，其實你係都
個體係銜接。
即係銜接翻。如果我係有心想去英國讀書嘅話，其實應該都比較容易，同埋係即係唔會話太困難咯。係啊，
可以講，如果你作為一個非英國人啊，可能你你可能係想象唔到，你從新加坡去英國會比你去英國讀，即係話作為香港人啦，喺英國讀或者美國讀會更加有優勢。我之前有個台灣學生去美國讀咗3年，佢係想，因為佢家族係做嗰個牙醫嘅，好多連鎖店都屋企幾有錢啦。但係佢因為去美國讀咗3年之後想考翻牙醫，大部分學校係唔接受嘅。咁佢後尾咧就讀完之後咧過咗嚟我哋新加坡呢邊，再讀咗1年，再從新加坡過去，佢就接受啦。所以亦都好神奇嘅呢個體系。
即係其實好多專業啦，牙醫係其中一個專業啦。咁其實可能入新加坡讀再其他國家，咁其實亦都受到國際嘅認可咯。
你會睇到好似呢啲所有嘅大學，基本上新加坡嘅大部分嘅高中畢業生啦，佢哋去其他國家嚟講，基本上都係去當地嘅比較頂尖嘅學校啦。佢有一定嘅原因，因為咧本身正如你所講，佢雖然咧佢承繼嘅係英系嘅教育體系，但係新加坡英系嗰個咧係叫做國際劍橋，而我哋新加坡咧專門咧係同嗰個國際劍橋嗰邊英國嘅嗰個考試局咧係教育部同佢咧特別做咗一個叫做新加坡劍橋，因為佢覺得啦嗰個英國劍橋太容易啦，因為我哋早年嘅時候咧，新加坡呢邊咧俾我哋嘅畢業生去考咧，好似冇乜區分度啊，個個都唔係考 A 就 B 啦，咁佢就覺得咦咁樣好似體驗唔出我哋學生之間嘅差異，佢就同英國劍橋考試局嗰邊去合作，專門做咗一個叫新加坡劍橋，其實嗰個水準係會比英國嘅國際劍橋仲高咗1-2級。所以而家新加坡嘅畢業生喺英國咁受歡迎。
另外就係頭先，因為頭先Dominic 都有提到就話如果係升學喺新加坡嘅話咧，可能對其實移民咧都有一啲嘅優勢咯。可唔可以都麻煩 Catherine 同我哋講下，即係如果喺新加坡升學嘅話，一啲就業機會啊，或者升學移民政策啊，會唔會都對即係海外嘅一啲申請者係有優勢嘅咧？
好有優勢同埋好有吸引力啦。咁首先啦，正如我頭先所講啦，基本上喺新加坡呢啲越發達嘅地區或者國家，其實佢係缺人嘅，因為咧越係高學歷咧，就越唔願意，相對嚟講唔願意去生 BB。咁所以咧變咗你頭先睇到嗰個表咧，其實華人佔咁多，但係點解好似都可以平衡翻嚟咧？佢基本上係靠嗰個新移民嘅。咁首先咧，其實咧新加坡啦，佢對東南亞嘅國家係會喺移民方面係有優勢嘅，包括即係香港啊同馬來西亞等等好多東南亞國家，其實都已經係免簽㗎啦，因為你哋入嚟係唔需要旅遊簽證，可以90日嘅。咁所以本身佢係好願意去吸引喺首先係東南亞嘅嗰啲所謂嘅華人啊或者非華人啊，你會發現咧，我哋新加坡呢一邊啦如果你係東南亞嘅，你就算你係同一啲西方人，所謂白人喺呢邊工作嘅嗰個，就算係你嘅人工比佢低一半，可能你會更有優勢。嗰啲相對嚟講，西方人白人要申請新加坡嘅身份係難上加難，係非常之難嘅，因為佢有嗰個 ratio 有比例啊，所以相對嚟講咧，華人要入新加坡要攞身份係會容易好多，因為係 quota 嘅問題啦。咁所以咧。咁佢同日本有啲唔同啦，日本其實係 好唔接受，無論從政府到國民係唔接受，唔係咁願意去有移民嘅。咁但係咧，相對嚟講咧，新加坡咧其實係好開放嘅。咁所以變咗咧喺呢一邊咧，只要係當然一個啦，就以低齡就會容易融入啦。因為新加坡會比較係咪？如果你可以留低，我就可以多一啲人口啦。咁當然如果喺講話你再去其他國家，咁係另一個所謂嘅跳板嘅優勢啦。咁移民政策性頭先所講啦。佢會俾好多優勢吸引你留低。首先你過嚟嘅時候啦，如果你入讀政府嘅學校啦，咁你除咗所謂學費有少少區別之外咧，你大部分嘅機會，你大部分嘅嗰啲可能性係同本地嘅學生係差唔多嘅，唔係好大嘅區別。咁包括甚至好似我頭先所講，你如果小學你嘅成績比較好，或者你小學畢業成績好，初中畢業成績好，高中畢業成績好嘅話，佢係直接會移民廳俾信邀請你去成為佢嘅綠卡，或者係之後成為公民。咁如果至於咧再低齡一啲嘅話咧，喺新加坡就會比較容易啲入啦。比如幼兒園呢一方面，無論你國際嘅、私立嘅或者係政府嘅，只要有學額，你就可以攞到呢一個叫做學生證啦。咁當你攞到學生證之後咧，你嘅媽咪或者係你嘅我哋講grandma 啦，你無論你嘅阿嫲啦，或者你嘅婆婆啦，呢啲是當中其中一個咧係可以直接申請叫做陪讀嘅一個身份。咁其實嗰個陪讀身份基本上同綠卡係差唔多㗎，每5年就更新一次啦。咁佢係完全係同綠卡一樣可以自由出入。
所以咧就一個申請移民就3代過嚟申請移民咁啦，好似。
佢儘管唔係話叫做綠卡，但係佢叫做長期準證。你係基本上喺呢個細路仔喺新加坡讀書期間，只要細路仔咧係有嗰個學生證嘅話，佢係可以最少去到18歲嘅。佢係叫做媽媽陪讀嘅準證啦。
即係都係另一種嘅居留方式啦，合法。係
啦，其實呢種咧喺呢幾年係好流行嘅，特別低齡嘅話咧，多少媽咪都唔放心嘛。
明白。好，我哋事不宜遲，我哋去到我哋即係嗰個新加坡教育之後最後嘅環節，就係咧究竟考咩試咧？究竟點咧？
係啦，咁咧呢一度啦，首先啦，佢點樣去吸引人才啦？全世界都喺度有需求，咁佢有好多各種我哋叫做 SM1、SM2 嘅進入新加坡嘅中學或者大學嘅預科，因為新加坡咧係4年嘅初中，2年嘅高中，佢呢邊係咁叫2年嘅初中之後咧，佢會考一個 O 水準嘅考試。咁再2年之後咧，高中畢業咧有個叫做 A 水準考試，其實同香港會係類似啦，就一共初高中係6年嘅，即係中學階段係6年。但係頭先我哋所講佢嗰個優勢咧就係，甚至乎如果你喺新加坡，你只係讀咗4年嘅初中，考完嗰個 O 水準考試。喺美國同埋包括澳洲等等，有好多國家嘅本科 degree 係可以直接申請嘅。當然唔係最 top 嗰啲啦，因為你未讀高中嘛。但係佢哋係認嘅，因為本身喺呢邊讀完中4，基本上如果你成績好嘅話，係已經等於其他呢啲國家讀完高中啦。新加坡嘅高中有好多課程係其他國家嘅大學嘅課程。
即係水平即係一般都比較高啲咯。
所以佢會認可度好高咯。
好，最後其實我都想麻煩 Catherine 咧，其實同我哋香港觀眾都講下，如果佢哋真係有家庭，佢有小朋友，佢真係好想去選擇去將佢小朋友帶過嚟新加坡升學，你有啲乜嘢比較有啲乜嘢最快捷或者係乜嘢建議可以俾到我哋觀眾，就係話有咩年齡會好啲啊，或者嗰個嚟到應該會點做啊，嗰啲咁嘅嘢咧？
咁相信一定係越低齡越好啦，因為佢比較在乎你嘅融入度啦。咁正如頭先所講，幼兒園咧其實好簡單嘅，相對嚟講，當然你要揾到一啲質優嘅幼兒園，咁你可以揾一啲本地比較信得過嘅一啲所謂朋友幫忙啦。咁幼兒園係相對簡單一啲，咁但係一到咗小學開始啦，小1嘅話咧，如果你本地讀過幼兒園咧，係會入去嘅機會大一啲，但係並唔係話你100%嘅。咁到小2開始咧，其實係通過一個叫做 AEIS 嘅國際學生考試，從初中到高中，咁你係全世界所有上嚟新加坡讀書入正科學嘅學生係都要考試嘅，1年咧會有2次，一次喺2月，一次喺9月，咁你就可以參加呢個考試，考到咧你就可以入到政府嘅中學、小學啦。
即係大概就係成個嗰個教育嗰個，即係無論你入去幼兒園啦，之後你去到即係中小學啦，咁你考咩試啦，即係其實亦都可以根據自己嘅意向咧，
升學同考試可以冇優勝咁。
繼續留喺新加坡升學啦，或者可能係當一個跳板咧，就去其他外國繼續升學。咁其實佢哋同埋其實佢哋嗰個即係系統，其實即係嗰個即係教育嗰個體系，其實都可以銜接到外國西方國家，
全世界都認可，
全世界都即係，
而且係非常之有優勢嘅。其實喺大學前嘅教育啦。新加坡嘅嗰個基礎教育可以係全世界數一數二嘅。
係。咁我相信即係大家，即係大家觀眾都可以即係不妨考慮下啦。咁其實我相信其實講真啦，即係講開教育經啊呢啲，其實基本上真係説不完、説不盡嘅話題。咁其實相信大家都好多問題啊，咁其實咧當然唔緊要啦。其實我哋即係有啲咩問題，其實亦都可以喺直播之後啦，或者可能其實我哋而家咩 boss 咧，其實留意翻，其實有阿 Catherine， 其實佢嗰個聯絡電話啦，係啦，聯絡資料、聯絡電話啦、聯絡 email 啦，咁其實有啲咩嘢再詳細啲問題可以直接聯絡 Catherine 咯。咁或者如果即係大家亦都可以去我哋而家個Facebook 我哋嗰個私信我哋啦，咁亦都可以將佢轉介翻俾阿 Catherine， 咁亦都可以喺 comment box 度，我哋都可以之後可以再即係話翻，即係問翻阿 Catherine， 再幫大家去答咯，係啊。咁今日其實非常之多謝 Catherine， 係啊，即係唔講唔知。Thank you， 拜拜。
咦 ，Dominic 又翻嚟。
係啦 ，Dominic 又翻嚟啦。
Yeah。So thank you, Catherine。謝謝梁老師。Okay。Shall I share my screen again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay。
係啦，咁其實咧啱啱提到阿 Catherine 同我哋都即係都分享完其實教育嗰方面啦。咁其實講真，即係講到最後，其實即係我無論我讀書又好，住又好，咁其實即係點都有個有瓦遮頭啦。咁我相信其實嚟緊阿 Dominic 都會同我哋講緊，其實移民咗之後，咁第一件事重要啦，點做咧？係啦。
Yeah. So with regards whether you got your permanent residence or you got your investment in a business, you have employed, you got an employment pass, or your children are studying here, we definitely need a roof over our heads. So the next segment will be, the final segment will be on the property investment. So I'm going to touch on that. But let me just share about some basic information. We are very, very much like Hong Kong because we have freehold, 999 years properties, and of course the majority of our properties here are 99 years leasehold. And the standard is when the property is being sold is that the interior of the space is calculated. That means it does not include the lobby, it does not include the corridor. Okay, so internal space includes the balcony and the aircon, the ledges, and then the yard. Okay, and we calculate the space in per square foot, just like in Hong Kong. Okay, and foreigners can take a loan in Singapore. They can take up to 65% of the value of the property. And the current interest rate for a mortgage loan is 1.5 to 1.6%, which is very, very low. Okay, and in Singapore, when you purchase a property that is still under construction, the buyer pays the developer in accordance to the construction progress of the construction, meaning to say that at a certain point of time when the foundation is completed, then the developer can call for a certain amount of money. Okay, and in Singapore, the rental yield is about 3 or somewhat %, so it's often higher than the the interest rate of the mortgage loan. So a lot of investors basically can use the rental to cover their mortgage installment on a monthly basis. Okay, and yeah.
啱 Dominic 都帶咗好重要嘅信息俾我哋即係觀眾啦。首先其實即係新加坡個房產基本上主要都係永權嘅，即係永久業權啊。咁其實大家就唔需要擔心，死啦！我買咗嗰個層樓之後，究竟幾時使唔使還翻俾政府定咩？即係唔需要擔心嘅，永遠都係你嘅。咁你就可以繼續即係子女承繼啊，繼續延伸落去都可以啦。咁另外咧，其實佢香港嗰個同香港嗰個即係尺數，其實計嗰個方式都係一樣嘅。咁另外咧，其實就係話喺新加坡喺當地銀行外國人係咁當然啦，你而家去投資買樓或者可能你未必咁快成為到新加坡公民先啦，但係你去買樓亦都可以喺當地銀行做到按揭。咁呢一樣嘢其實又唔係話度都可以㗎。咁新加坡係可以嘅，咁當然啦，新加坡其實佢銀行可以做到按揭俾你，咁其實又可以直接去達到個房價嘅65% 咯。咁另外係啱啱睇到非常重要，就係如果投資者就要投心聽啊。投資嗰個回報其實喺新加坡咧係非常之都非常之即係理想㗎。咁其實分鐘佢嗰個咧。嗰個回報率咧，其實係嗰個即係嗰個回報率個 percentage 係高過你去承做按揭嗰個利息咯。咁其實換言之就係你去投資，其實基本上你收到嗰份租金咧，其實直接可以完全冚翻落去你個供款咯。係啊，係啦。
Okay.
請繼續。
Right, and the handover standard is basically like in Hong Kong, we have the developer would have completed the flooring, the air conditioning, and the cabinets in the rooms and the kitchen, and also the appliances in the kitchen, and the toilets are all fully done up. Okay, and the government wants to protect all the home buyers. Okay, so they stipulate that all developers for a particular project needs to have a separate bank account for this particular project. Meaning to say that ABC contractor or developer can have 7 concurrent projects, okay, at the same time. But all these 7 projects must have their own bank accounts. So in case this ABC developer collapse and go bankrupt, the funds for this particular project can still go on. Okay, so other developers can take over because the funds are still within the bank account. It doesn't follow the developer. Yeah, so that's really a protection from the government to make sure that the developer, or rather the building, can continue its construction. And finally, in Singapore, we do not have capital gain tax and there's no estate duty tax.
明白，咁啱其實阿 Dominic 都有講到咧，其實就係、即係喺當地如果發展商要起樓咧，其實佢需要係有自己唔同嘅戶口啦，即係唔係話一個戶口就包晒所有。咁其實就每一個項目就佢一個戶口。咁其實咩意思咧？就係、如果佢某一個項目可能係爛尾，即係唔會爛尾啦，即係或者可能係未咁快可以見得早住，或者有啲乜嘢依鬱嘅話，其實亦都可以保障到每一個獨立嘅項目其實可以安全咁去繼續建造落去咯。咁其實啱啱講即係講開freehold 啊，呢個咁嘅話題就係收到一個即係現場觀眾嘅問題，想問下 Dominic， 咁麻煩 Dominic 幫我哋去解答下啦。咁啊呢個我觀眾其實就話 freehold 有 freehold 啦，同埋有 leasehold 呢兩款唔同嘅即係物業產權嘅情況啦嘅status 啦。咁其實會唔會其實佢話如果我係一個即係投資啦，即係邊樣嘢你覺得投資會好啲嘅？即係出租會好啲定係自用會好啲咧？即係其實究竟一個 freehold 定係 leasehold 會好啲咧，或者係邊一款對邊一款會好啲咧？
So if you are basically purchasing a property for investment purposes only, okay, because investment can be, I purchase this property and I leave it for generations to come. If you're intending to keep this property as a family asset for your generations, for your children or your grandchildren, and leave as an asset for them, and I'll recommend definitely to go for freehold properties. But if you're just looking at Singapore property as a portfolio for your conservative investment, then I would recommend 99 years because the difference in price between a 99 years and what I call a freehold property on the same location, the difference in price could be 20 to 30%. Okay, but the rental is the same because as a tenant, I do not care whether you're a freehold or you're a 99-year-old, I'm going to pay the same rental. So when you're buying a 99-year-old, your investment amount is lesser, therefore your rental yield will be higher. Okay, so if you're purely for investment for the rental yield and just to have an investment for a short term or medium to long term, medium term, then I would recommend you looking at 99 years property for investment purposes. Yep.
OK 明白晒。咁其實我啱啱都聽到 Dominic， 咁我就簡單再簡單再講少少啦，就係即係就可以分即係睇下你自己嗰個投資意向，咁啊分短中長啦。咁啊首先如果短中嘅即係短期或者中期就係可能你純粹係貨投資嘅，咁你純粹係貨投資嘅話咧，咁你基本上你需要注意咧，其實只係會係嗰個回報率啦。咁其實你係 leasehold 咧，其實就冇乜所謂，因為 leasehold 反而帶俾你更加高嘅回報率。咁但係如果我係一個長期投資，甚至可能其實我根本成個人已經喺新加坡，我成個家庭已經喺新加坡啦。咁其實如果你係因為你如果講真，你買得樓都有心俾翻你嘅下一代啦。咁其實買一個 freehold 就會比較適合少少咯。咁啊希望即係都唔該晒阿 Dominic。咁其實希望呢個嘅Dominic呢個解答亦都可以流程都可以解答到啱啱現場觀眾嗰個問題啦，係啦。咁啊當然啦，咁啊如果唔同嘅問題其實即係都可以繼續我哋 comment box 啦，或者可能私信留言我哋啦。咁其實啱啱我哋又收到另一個嘅現場觀眾嘅問題啦，係啦。
係啦，咁就係想問翻咧，海外嘅買家會唔會係需要交一啲物業稅啊？
印花稅嘛 ，stamp duty。
Property tax.
Oh yeah, property tax is only when the property is completed and the government calculate the property tax based on the annual value, okay, of a property. Meaning to say that it's not what they call correlated with the purchase price. How does the government manages this annual value? So for a given area of a room type, for example, right now we're talking about 3-bedroom in the area of downtown Orchard Road. So this area, 3-bedroom type is getting like 8,000 rental per year. Okay, so based on all the information that the government accumulated over an annual basis of all the surrounding private properties of 3-bedroom, okay, they will be able to give an annual value of this particular property, and then based on the annual value, they will determine the property tax. Okay, so the property tax between you are staying in the property or you are renting it out is also different. If you are staying in the property tax is 4%. If you are renting it out as an investment, that means you're getting income from it. Then your property tax is 10% on a tier basis. Okay, so the government calculates this and is directed to the homeowners, right?
咁即係其實就究竟視乎個稅項咧，係視乎究竟呢個物業你自己住啊，定係究竟你租俾人啊？咁你自己住就4%啦，咁你租俾人，因為你有收入㗎嘛，咁所以其實咧就會係10%，同埋基本上係唔同嘅 tier 去再計落去咯。唔該晒。另外有
多一個新問題啦，
好多問題啊。咁另外一個問題咧就係其實佢需rent do I have to pay tax on my rental income?
Yes. Okay, rental income is considered your personal income, so that falls under the income tax. Okay, personal income tax. Okay, so you when you purchase a property purely for investment purposes, okay, so you have to pay cover the property tax on an annual basis, and when you receive the income, the total income that you receive from this, of course, you can take away the interest that you pay for the bank loan, you can take away the agent commission that you pay, you can take away the maintenance that you pay for the property, and after deducting all this, the remaining income that you receive from this particular property, you have to declare income tax. Okay, most of the time, the rental income, if let's say you're buying a suburban, is too low, okay, that the government will not draw tax from you. Yeah, but in any case, should an individual wants information about this, especially for myself, I calculate very detailedly. Okay, when you purchase a property for investment purposes, I will calculate at the end of it all upon renting. Okay, after paying all the property tax and the income tax and all the management fee for the particular condominium, how much do you get back? Okay, so all this will be calculated for you in advance for you to decide whether you're going ahead with the property for investment or not. Yeah.
明白。咁其實因為咧，始終即係租金收入都係一個個人嘅個人收入嘅稅項啦。咁其實咧呢個嘅觀眾亦都問，咁其實如果我喺新加坡要交個人嘅 income tax 嘅話，其實嗰個 tax rate 稅率會係大概幾多咧
？For individual foreigners is 15% income tax. 15.
明白，唔該晒 Dominic。咁希望 Dominic 呢個咁詳盡嘅解答都可以解答到你啦。咁但係如果你覺得仲有好多問題嘅，都唔緊要，咁可以繼續我哋 comment 留喺個 comment box 啦，同埋其實亦都可以即係私信我哋啦，亦都可以直接聯絡 Dominic 嘅，係啦。Dominic 請繼續同佢個買樓流程。
So if anybody is interested in a property in Singapore, basically all they have to do is to tell me their intention. Okay, whether it's for own stay or investment, then I'll select the properties according to their needs. How many bedrooms do they need? Their ideal size. Because for a 3-bedroom property, it can range from 800 square feet to 1,600 square feet. So they have to tell me their ideal size. And if they are familiar with Singapore, their preferred location. And then after that, whether they are looking for a property that's for immediate occupation, or are they able to wait 2 to 3 years when they get their plans ongoing. And most importantly is their budget. With all this information, okay, basing on their needs, and my years of experience and the current government's statistics figures and all that, I'll be able to select a few properties for them to consider. My main criteria for selecting properties is always about location. Okay, because in my opinion, location doesn't change. It can be 20 years, 30 years later, location doesn't change. Okay, so a lot of things can change, but location doesn't change. So most of my main criteria of selecting properties for my clients is based on location. Yeah.
明白。咁似乎聽你咁講，就係即係買樓係到最後都係好似同香港一樣啦，都係位置同埋位置啦。咁其實究竟之後係點咧？係啦。
Yep. Okay, so let me just touch on a little bit on the different processes. For example, this process is on a building that's under construction that is still in the building process. So assuming that a client is already satisfied with the proposed properties, they have decided to come to Singapore, and I went to the airport to pick them up. So they have visited a few properties and they are comfortable with a particular unit. So what they're going to do is to place a 5% deposit in exchange for an OTP, which is the option to purchase. After which, within 14 days, the developer will send a sales and purchase agreement to the lawyer. Okay, and this is the time where we have to meet the lawyer. And when we are meeting the lawyer explains the term and condition of the sales to us. And at the same time, we are supposed to be able to issue certain checks for the lawyer to submit to different departments. Okay, and within 21 days after the lawyer sent us the sales and purchase agreement, we need to return this document to confirm the sale. okay, the purchase. Okay, and after that, within 14 days, we have to make payment to the stamp duty department, which is paying our stamp duty. Not to worry, because the responsibility of handling all these documents will be done by the lawyer. Because when we see the lawyer, they will settle entire documentation and all the payment necessary. And after which, it will be the completion of the what they call transaction. And if let's say the building is just at the newly launched, that is when we have to furnish the remaining 15%. Or if the building is already completed into certain stages, that's when you have to furnish a little bit more. Okay, but if you have taken a loan, then the bank will supplement the 65%. Okay, the entire process from the time we place 5% at stage A, okay, right up to stage E is 8 weeks. Okay, I will think that this is maybe a little bit too much to digest, but rest assured that if you have any issues or you have an interest in Singapore property, I will be able to assist you every step of the way. So do not worry. Okay, this is I'm going through a little bit fast. Okay, but this is the process of buying a newly built property in Singapore. After that, because the building is still under construction, the developer will call for payment in accordance with the building progress.
其實啱 Dominic 係非常之詳盡，亦都個表亦都非常之清楚同我哋講咗，其實如果喺新加坡買樓，其實一步係點嘅。咁當然啦，我哋時間關係啦，其實咧唔緊要嘅，睇唔切都唔緊要嘅。咁其實咧，我覺得即係大家咧亦都可以隨時聯絡 Dominic 咧。咁我相信 Dominic 都非常之樂意可以親身或者打電話同你哋逐步去傾咯。其實都唔需要擔心嘅，因為咧 Dominic 頭先實在個表實在太清楚啦，係啦。咁我哋繼續，我哋時間，我哋抓緊我哋嘅時間，抓緊我哋嘅時間。
So for progress payment, basically the developer will call for payment in accordance to stages. So as you can see, even at the time whereby you are able to stay in the house, they only collect 85% because there's a defect liability. The developer needs to make sure that they are able to fulfill their responsibility of making sure that if let's say there's any problem with the house, the flooring, the wall, or the cabinets, they have to rectify it. Just like, tomorrow I'm going with my client to make sure that we list down all the defects. Okay, so this is by stages. Okay, next we will touch on the immediate occupied units, the transaction, the procedures. So basically, it is pretty much the same, but of course, because you are dealing with an immediate occupied unit, certain things can be changed. So the timing and all that can be adjusted. But one thing to note is because the property is already being built, okay? So at the end of the transaction, we have to furnish the entire 100% of the property price. So we have to make sure that at this juncture, in the stage 3, we must go and apply for a loan. Okay, so the loan is very important because if you're going to get a loan, at the stage 6, we have to furnish 100% of the entire payment. The bank will assist us if, let's say, the loan is approved. So we need to apply for a loan during the process of this purchasing immediate occupied units. Okay, let me just show you an example. So, for example, we are looking at a 10 million Hong Kong dollars property. So when we are interested in a property, we will place a deposit of 1%, and then there's about 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. Okay, then the seller or the developer will give us an option to purchase. And in the time of the option purchase, we are supposed to go and find a banker to approve our loan. And when we agree to the purchase already, so we have to furnish the additional 44% to confirm to exercise the option to purchase. These numbers can change because it depends on the seller and buyer's negotiation. Okay. And then after that, we have to pay the stamp duty, which is about 24%. So that's about 2.4 million Hong Kong dollars. Okay. And then the other fees involved would be the lawyer's fee. In the market is about 3,000 Singapore dollars, about 17,000 Hong Kong dollars. But because this lawyer has been working with me for the past 6 years, so all my clients get a discount, and we are only paying like 2,005 Singapore dollars or 14,000 Hong Kong dollars. The other fees involved would be if you're taking a loan, there's a stamp duty on the loan. Okay, that's about 2,800 Hong Kong dollars. And then also, if let's say you're taking a loan, the bank may call for a valuation. So a valuation fee is a few hundred Singapore dollars. Okay, and when at the completion, like I said, you have to furnish the remaining 95% at the completion time. So if your loan has been approved, then the bank will furnish the 65% where you pay the 30% because at the deposit stage, you've already furnished 5%. Yes. Okay, but more importantly, I did not mention anything about commission because in Singapore, buyers and tenant, okay, they do not pay agent commission. This is very important because if you come to Singapore to buy a property, you don't have to pay agent commission. And if you want to rent a property, you do not have to pay a commission as well. Because in Singapore, only the seller and the landlord pay commission. Yep. 好嘅，啱頭先
Dominic 都同我哋非常之清楚喺度講咧，即係詳細喺度講究竟如果我要買一層樓，嗱我哋知道個流程啦，咁究竟 點俾錢咧？俾幾多錢咧？每一步其實呢個咧睇唔似都唔緊要，都可以主動問翻阿Dominant嘅。
可能成個 set 翻俾大家。
最緊要大家知道就係買家無需付中介費，呢個我覺得大家一定要記住啊，唔需要俾 agent fee。咁我相信大家都非常即係都非常吸引啦，係咯，
Okay. So touch a bit on the stamp duty, yeah. Okay. So in Singapore, buyers buying a property have to pay property, and the government separate between $1 million. Lower than $1 million is 3%. Above 1 million is 4%. But then they also introduce the cooling measures, which is the additional buyer stamp duty. So for Singaporeans buying second property or foreigners buying property. Okay, so the additional buyer stamp duty for foreigners is when they buy a property in Singapore, they have to pay additional 20%. So I have a formula that is very easy for buyers to understand. So if you're buying a property that's under 1 million, okay, your stamp duty would be the property price multiplied by 23% and subtract 5,004. If your property price is above 1 million, your property price multiplied by 24% and deducting 15,400. This would be your stamp duty.
明白，咁即係大概嗰個印花稅咧，其實就係喺個房價，但基本上就係100萬波子同100萬波子樓下同埋樓上嘅分別咯。咁其實咧唔識計唔緊要，揾Dominant就得啦。
Okay, so go into the sixth segment, which is the property that I'm going to recommend to you guys, which is Pullman Residence. Okay, yep. Okay, so this is a branded residence. It's branded residence because the name of the property is called Pullman. Okay, it's a hotel brand residence. Why is it important that I recommend this property? Is because it has got a 5-star brand on it. So a lot of difference come into play. Okay, and then this property is also freehold in status and is extremely near to the Mrt station, about 2 minutes walking distance. It's in District 11, which is the core central district of Singapore. The core central district of Singapore is 9, 10, 11, which is the Orchard Road area. And this is a very, very high-end location in Singapore. Okay, so yeah.
係因為 Pullman 都係一個好出名嘅一個品牌啦，咁另外呢一個即係項目都係喺佢哋嘅中心範圍，因為喺新加坡可能佢哋 downtown 就係最主要就係90同11啦，咁但係佢就已經係 locate 喺即係最中間。
係啦，咁我相信大家可能有去過新加坡咧，新加坡都知道咧，其實去旅遊咧，一定會去 Orchard Road 嘅。咁 Orchard Road 咧，其實咧就係即係新加坡非常中心點最繁華嗰條街。咁其實就好似香港嘅銅鑼灣咁。咁其實你即係講真，你去香港點會唔去銅鑼灣咧？就去新加坡點會唔去 Orchard Road 咯？咁所以其實佢呢個項目其實就喺一個非常之繁華嘅地區啦。咁同埋亦都係配合翻啱啱之前 Dominant 都講過，其實政府嗰個計劃就希望大家可以喺10分鐘內嘅生活圈咯。咁其實呢一個我諗基本上應該少過10分鐘㗎啦，應該5分鐘啦。係啦。咁麻煩
Location of this property, because everybody knows all property guru in the world will just emphasize on selecting property. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so it's all about location. So let's look at the location of Pullman. We are in the central region of Singapore. That's where it's located. Okay, this is the government master plan. Okay, and if we zoom into the master plan, we can see the blue color. Okay, it actually represents the commercial buildings and the shopping centers of Singapore. So we are very, very near. So in terms of going to your office or you're renting it out, the pool of tenants is huge because you're very near to the CBD. Okay, this is the Mrt Map. Okay, as you can see, you're one stop away from Orchard Road, and then you're like 3-4 stops to CBD area of Singapore. Okay, if you zoom into the map, okay, we can see that the MRT station is just opposite of Pullman Residence. It's a 2 minutes walk. Okay, and they are about one MRT stop away from Orchard Road. The highlighted one is the Orchard Road, like Evan mentioned. It's actually like Simsas Way or Tong Lo Wan. Okay, and then we are near to the President Palace. Okay, so if you're taking if you're flying to Hong Kong and coming back to Singapore from the airport, it's about 30 minutes drive away, or 30 minutes to 40 minutes of a train ride. So you are traveling like just one suitcase and all that, you can take the train because it's about 30 minutes train ride to Pullman Residence from the airport. Okay.
係啊，咁我哋都講一講啦，因為呢個 project 嘅即係地理位置真係好方便啦，咁就2分鐘咧已經係可以去到其中一個叫 Newton 嘅地鐵站啦，咁然之後咧附近亦都有一個好出名嘅熟食中心啦，咁應該行2分鐘可能就已經到啦。咁另外就係5分鐘啦，可能搭車咧就會有大家都可能有去過觀眾就係Orchard Road 啦，係一個好著名嘅購物地帶啦。咁另外佢即係大型嘅一啲醫療保健中心啊、CBD 啊、動植物公園啊等等咧，都係可能車程大概5至10分鐘內都可以去到啊。咁另外就係好出名嘅郵輪中心啦，同埋即係大家可能都有去過嘅金沙賭場酒店咧，都喺附近啦，咁好方便，
真係四通八達咯。
係啊，機場可能頭先Dominic 都提過，即係可能揸車20分鐘到就可以去到啦。係啊，搭車亦都係30至40分鐘，咁其實即係基本上機場直出市區，直達翻屋企啦，就係。
Yeah. Okay. Right. So moving on, how will a branded residence? How is it different? How does it help you? Because when the property is being developed, we have to go and collect the properties at takeover time. But before we actually take over the property, we have to be assured, we are rest assured that Pullman will send a representative to inspect the property according to the specs. So the developer have to meet the specification of the Pullman resident or Pullman brand before they hand it over to the homeowners. So we are assured of this quality of the property.
係，咁即係其實咧嗰個品牌都好緊要啦。其實 Pullman 頭先都有阿 Vanessa 都有提過，都係一個好出名嘅國際酒店管理品牌。咁其實佢嘅出品其實我即係某程度上嘅項目，我哋都可以覺得其實都係酒店式嘅感覺咯。同埋其實頭先睇到 Pullman 嗰個即係嗰個 intro 個 video 啦，其實基本上都係一個酒店嘅大堂啊嗰啲，跟住就即係覺得真係一個低調得嚟又奢華得嚟又高尚，但係得嚟又方便嘅項目咯，就係。
Yep. Okay. So it's because of this Pullman brand, the value of the property will be able to continue to be preserved. Okay, because Pullman will definitely maintain the facade of the building to make sure that it's always maintained at the highest quality. Okay. So and of course, because of this Pullman brand, the concierge, the management of the property is by the Pullman brand. So there's a concierge people. The bell service and there's a doorman waiting for you to assist you every step of the way. So especially if let's say you are renting this place out to foreigners and they are not familiar with Singapore, there's even a la carte service like home maintenance packages and private transportation to and from the airport, dry cleaning services, dog walking services even. Okay, so these are services that the Pullman brand brings together with the property.
咁啊酒店式嘅外觀啦，酒店式嘅品牌啦，當然有酒店式嘅管理啊，亦都有酒店式嘅貴賓服務。咁所以其實即係呢個即係就係你買咗，即係可能你有呢個項目，其實就唔係話即係唔係即係嗰個概念就唔係住普通嘅私人公寓咯，應該係酒店式設計同埋管理嘅公寓咯，係啦。好
，OK。So let's look at the Pullman residence property information. So this is done by the developer is EL Development. It's a freehold property, 永久啊。Okay, and then the handing over time is about 2023 in the month of December. Okay, there are 340 units available, and the units available is from one bedroom to 4-bedroom units. Okay, ranging from 463 square feet to 1,378 square feet. Again, if you require information of this, I can always send you the brochure, so don't be too overwhelmed by the information here. Okay, so this is the site plan. As you can see, it's a fully what they call a full facility condominium. It has got a tennis court and a half basketball court, a 15-meter lap pool, and then also barbecue pits and a jacuzzi and a gym. Okay.
咁呢個項目咧都係即係啱啱有提到啦，咁就有永久產權啦。咁另外咧都係提供1到4房嘅單位。
其實都好多選擇喎，即係我住1房，我出去出租又得，我要2、3房甚至4房，我係家庭嘅，家庭都可以咯。咁其實呢個咧其實就會去到，其實呢個就係一個暫時仲起緊啦。咁其實去到年尾先會完工㗎。咁其實我都差唔多啦。咁其實聯絡得嚟啦，多文嚟就差唔多啦。咁啊出年如果我哋即係出年又解封啦，咁啊直接可以飛埋過去探下多文嚟，順便睇埋樓，順便遊覽下 Orchard Road 啦，遊覽下新加坡啦。
呢個即係樓盤，今日好少會見到樓盤咧會有一個50米長嘅泳池嘅，通常都係25或者一啲唔標準。
50米係一個標準池喎。
係啊，50米標準池，另外仲有tennis， 即係可以打埋網球添，咁都真係幾特別啊。
係啊，即係足不出戶都可以即係享受好多消閒嘅活動咯，係啊，係啊。
Okay, so the property also have unblocked views. When you are looking towards the southwest, this is the unblocked views that you're going to get. Okay, and if you are looking towards the north, this is the unblocked views that you're going to get. So it's pretty amazing, this property. Yep. So the unit types available, like I was telling you, is between the 1 to 4 bedrooms, and this is the floor plan of the property. Okay, so if you need more information, again, I can send you the brochure. Not to worry, just send me a text. Okay. And 3 bedrooms onwards, they come with private lifts. So the residents of these 3 bedrooms and 4 bedrooms, they do not have to share lobby with the other residents. This lift lead them right to their house. OK，
咁有少少比較貼心啲同埋特別啲嘅安排啦。咁啊即係一至2房咧，其實亦都可能即係比較適合大家，即係好多嘅唔同嘅即係投資啊或者出租嘅單位。咁如果去到3房4房，可能家庭啦，咁家庭比較多人啦，咁可能都希望咩私隱度比較高。咁其實佢呢個嘅設計咧，就係3房同4房係有自己私人嘅 lift， 係有私人個 lobby 直達自己嗰個單位咯。咁其實呢個其實即係講真係唔係聽到好多項目係會有咁嘅安排㗎，係啊。
OK，
係。咁當然啦，有好多 floor plan 咧，其實咧即係都而家其實可能都想睇真啲，想再望真啲，
時間真係有限。咁啊，當然啦，Dominic都即係繼續真係即係大家真係唔需要
擔心嘅，
或者擔心，即係任何問題。
I'll share with you the 4-bedroom show flat. Okay, so this is a 4-bedroom show flat. Let's take a look.
係啦。
So this is a living area whereby it's big enough for you to separate the dining and the living. We have a dry kitchen here, okay, and the dry kitchen is equipped with an induction cooker and an oven. So for non-greasy cooking, and if you are having guests in the house, you can still talk to them while they're preparing the food.
Dominic， 咁我想問下廚房呢一啲嘅用具係咪都包埋㗎
？The furniture does not include. Okay, as you can see at the caption, I will state what is equipped. For example, like right now the main kitchen, the developer is equipping the main kitchen with cooker hob, cooker hood, fridge, washing machine, and a dryer and a dishwasher.
所以呢一啲嘅設施用具都係已經包埋㗎。
Yep.
係啦，咁好啦，因為其實我哋而家啱啱都年尾先起好啦，咁其實而家嘅疫情關係，其實阿 Dominic 都率先咁幫我哋去咗個 showroom 度影咗段片，咁其實我哋可以置身喺而家呢個嘅單位裏邊去睇咯。
Yep. And this is a dishwasher, so if you are having a lot of guests, you can dump all your dishes to help you wash out even though you have huge fees. Okay, and this will act as a store, or if you have a domestic helper, it can be her private dwelling space with the attached bathroom as well.
哇，工人姐姐間房都好高級喎，依個。
好似大過我間房啦已經。
Yep, and the arrangement of the layout of this particular unit is we have one junior suite on the right hand side, and the other 3 bedrooms are tucked on the other side. Okay, so this room is big enough for a queen size bed.
都好大嘅，除咗擺到 queen size 之外，幾邊都可以落。
係啊，同埋呢個即係都係酒店式嘅設計啦。其實而家覺得都好似入咗個酒店房咁。好似去
緊一個 staycation。
It looks like a hotel, isn't it?
即係好似一個酒店。
So beautiful.
好。
So the other 3 rooms in the other corner. Okay.
個廳好寬敞，好高樓底，係啊。咁我相信其實即係可能3房4房，其實如果一個家庭住喺裏邊咧，我諗4、5個都唔會嫌得逼啦。其實大家亦都有自己私人空間啦。咁其實即係圍喺個廳度睇電視，亦都可以分開，即係坐得大家都非常之舒服嘅都會。
So this is a common room. The interior designer has converted into a study room. But of course, when you purchase it, this is an actual room that has cabinets. This would be the master bedroom. Okay.
係呢個主人套房係。
And I especially like the master bath because it's really so pretty. You have a bath separated from the shower area. So if you have time to relax, you can always take a bath. Otherwise, yeah, it's amazing. It's so pretty.
係啊，呢個真係一個
嘅廁所都係浴室啦，即係企缸同嗰個浴缸都係分隔開。
係啊，咁即係好似酒店啦。其實我可能即係我即係平時即係夠時間嘅話，其實我可以落去浸一浸都非常之 relax 㗎。即係完全係一個酒店式嘅設計同埋酒店式嘅鋪排咯。
Yep. And another thing is because the Pullman representative will make sure that the quality of the house, of the property is being met, the specifications before it's handed over to the home buyer. Okay, and, yeah. So like I was sharing earlier, we have great views at the balcony. So if you have time to sit down and relax, read the book, or you can overlook at the balcony to amazing views. And you have friends coming there for a party, we can always chill out at the balcony and then overseeing the beautiful view. And of course, when the night comes to an end, it's time for us to send the guests back. And we do not have to go outside of the house because we can just give them to the private lift lobby, okay, to send them off.
係啦，呢個就頭先啱啱講到咧，就係3房同4房單位特別嘅，即係私人自己 lift 咯。我相信大家而家睇到都好想親身過嚟望一望啊，不過唔緊要嘅。其實我哋可以有興趣嘅可以聯絡 Dominic 啦。咁其實如果即係大家都可以即係 unlock 翻啦，可以即係 unlock 翻可以飛到去新加坡嗰位，就我相信Dominic 非常歡迎大家去探佢，亦都可以帶你。
Pullman Residences is a branded residence. It's freehold. It's got one of the best locations in Singapore. It has a hotel concierge service. 2 minutes walk to MRT. For a property that is freehold and 2 minutes walk to MRT is extremely rare in Singapore. This property can be used for own use or you can use it for rental. It's ideal for investment or to keep it as a family asset, okay, for your future generations. Okay, so that's probably the end of my presentation. And I'd like to say I'm here to help you. If you want to come to Singapore with regards to whether it's property or immigration, just give me a text and I'll be with you every step of the way. Thank you very much for your time.
明白。跟住最後我哋咧完結我哋呢個直播之前咧，其實我哋咧都想即係代一個觀眾去問阿 Dominic 啦，問多條問題。咁其實佢就問啦 ，How does the Master Plan 2019 affect the property values of District 11 in the coming 5 to 10 years?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question? I wasn't listening.
How does the Master Plan 2019 affect the property values of District 11 in the coming 5 to 10 years?
Okay, actually, the government has a plan to build a stretch okay, of overhead garden. Okay, so it's going to lead from what you call Gardens by the Bay all the way until Upper Bukit Timah. Okay, so this entire stretch is already work in progress. Okay, so it's going to make the entire lifestyle of people who want to exercise and feel free and then having nice air to breathe and all that. It's just in front of Pullman Residences, the entire District 11. Yes.
哦，明白。其實有觀眾咧，其實咧就係問咧，其實問下 Dominic。咁喺嗰個政府個計劃裏邊咧，其實喺第11區咧，其實佢喺未來嗰5至10年咧，其實佢嗰個發展咧會點影響嗰個 property value？ 咁其實啱啱 Dominic 亦都講咗咧，其實即係政府其實佢都 confirm 咗，其實係會大力發展一個比較休閒同埋即係 leisure 啲嘅一個嘅基建嘅配套設施啦。咁其實可想而知，其實嗰個 property value 其實咧，亦都會相對地會有潛力去上升咯。因為其實大家諗下，其實如果個政府其實佢配合當地嗰個即係住宅嗰個興建啊，其實都即係我起我的樓，但係個政府亦都配合，可能起到好 leisure。其實相對嚟講係吸引咗好多唔同嘅即係無論係海外買家或者當地買家，亦都會去進駐呢個嘅即係11區咯。咁當然啦，如果作為一個投資者嚟講，咁如果你去買呢個嘅，其實你出租嘅，咁我相信都應該有唔錯嘅回報價。咁頭先Dominic都有講啦，回報率其實佢你做 mortgage， 你個回報率個 percentage 咧係一定係高過嗰個 mortgage 個 percent， 係 mortgage 嗰個利息個 percentage 咯。咁所以其實即係絕對係即係 positive 嘅投資咯。係啊，咁唔該晒，多謝晒 Dominic 今日同我哋。
I'd like to add that it's all needs based, so it's all depending on the client's requirement. Okay, what they need. And then I will use that as a reference to help them select properties for their consideration. Yeah, I'm here to help. Yeah.
明白。咁當然啦，咁Dominic其實都好，即係都再強調就係，即係其實佢會根據唔同嘅客戶啦、唔同嘅朋友啦，係啦，唔同嘅朋友其實佢哋嗰個需要啦，咁其實佢意思佢俾佢即係會獨立
度身訂造一個 plan 俾你，
度身訂造嘅即係 plan 啊，或者係意見俾你，因為每個人嘅要求都會唔同。咁其實咁都係，所以係啱啊，Dominic同我哋講嗰啲其實都即係大家做個參考啦。咁當然啦，要想知多啲，其實都可以歡迎去聯絡Dominic。
因為佢哋都提供即係一條龍嘅售前售後服務啦。咁所以即係如果大家可能之後封關啊，疫情好咗，大家可以終於可以去旅行啦，咁都可以即係歡迎聯絡Dominic，佢哋都好樂意即係為大家安排一個即係當地嘅實地考察，咁同埋為大家度身訂做一啲 plan 同埋適合即係符合大家 budget 嘅一啲即係需求。
咁希望到時候如果我哋去新加坡，我哋都會見到你啦。係啊，
多謝Dominic，
多謝晒，唔該晒㗎嘛，唔該晒 ，thank you，拜拜Dominic，take care。係咁，其實同大家都講翻啦。咁其實我哋即係我哋呢個直播咧，其實即係大家都有乜嘢問題咧，其實都可以私信我哋啦，留翻 mailbox 啦。咁其實我哋都會咧轉介翻俾即係俾我哋嘅Dominic同埋 Catherine， 即係喺即係房產同埋教育嘅專家㗎。咁其實即係多謝大家收睇我哋嘅直播，希望我哋下次再見。
拜拜。
拜拜。